views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at talkrealsolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of talkrealsolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not talkrealsolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is Talk Real Solutions, and I am your host tonight, Tyrone Thompson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Today is November the 16th, 2023, and I want to invite you to go to talkrealsolutions.com, and on there you'll find the 3-point plan to Black empowerment and financial freedom. It has 3 points. The first point is to get together with like-minded people. The second point is to stop all unnecessary spending and save your money. The third point is, as a unit, invest or save your money in a verified and trusted institution. A great goal will be for you to open a Black-owned business. And right above the 3-point plan, you have a link to African American-owned banks and African American-owned credit unions. We could all start moving our money to these institutions to start practicing group economics today, and check out the rest of the links and articles on the website. And if you want to participate in the conversation tonight, all you have to do is call the conference call number at 717-908-1834, and I will get you on the line as soon as you hit 917-324, the access code. The access code, and y'all know how I do. I don't care who calls in, what you talk about, how long you talk. Just as long as you stay respectful and take turns and don't do all that screaming and yelling and talking over one another. I say this every week. It don't even matter. Y'all ain't gonna listen to me no way. But that's all I'm asking is just call in. And then if you are on the line with somebody else and they have an opinion, you do not have to talk over them. You don't have to scream over them. You will have your opportunity to speak and share your thoughts as well. Just try to be respectful of one another while y'all are on the show here. And I will definitely try to do the same. And y'all don't mind me. I'm trying to make sure that all of this stuff is working as I start my little. Yeah. All right. And other than that, welcome to the show. I really have not been paying attention to anything that's going on in the media, in social media, or in the news, or anything like that, because I find myself busy doing other things. But y'all know me. I peep and I check out what's going on every once in a while in politics and on social media, and I try to give you guys my opinion of how I feel or what I think about whatever the subject matter might be. And there's I don't know, politics is just crazy right now. And I titled the show, "What's the Point?" And I'll get into that in a minute as soon as I share this link on Facebook. And if y'all want to follow on Facebook, just click on the group Talk Real Solutions Show. You can follow along there. Or, of course, you can follow along on YouTube because that's where we are right now. And you can listen to the conversation. All right. I think I done did what I can as far as sharing it. Yeah, I titled the show, What's the Point? Because there's a whole lot of situations that seem useless when it comes to politics, when it comes to the way people think, when it comes to their philosophies or ideas. It just seems like they're going to keep going down that same rabbit hole over and over and over again, never learning nothing new, never growing from the experience that they have. Whenever they do, happen to take a left turn or do something wrong or discover something wrong. Seems like people are trained and programmed to continue to follow BS, and not even try to engage in growing mentally and learning anything. And that's the way I look at how politics is today, because here we are, November the 16th. They averted a government shutdown, but at the same time, they didn't fund the government for a long term. They only funded the government for a short period of time. And next thing you know, we'll be in this same predicament weeks, maybe months later. I think it's after the holidays, like in January, is how long they funded the government to, which is stupid. Because passing all of these continuing resolutions is just showing that the government isn't postured or they're not in a position to do the job that we pay them taxes to do, the job that they raised their right hand and swore into their office that they hold to do. They're not doing their fucking job. They half-ass doing their job. And if it was anybody else on any other job that would go to work and half-ass do their job, they would be fired. They would be fired. So how can we have confidence or faith in this government if they can't do the basic core thing that they were sent to Washington to do? If they can't continue to fund the government and make sure that we don't go in debt, make sure that we can pay our bills, how can we trust these politicians? So what's the point, right? What's the point in even listening to these people? What's the point in actually just giving them credit for anything? What's the point? Because they're just going to continue to half-ass do what they're supposed to be doing. So here's a AP article. Let me see if you guys can see that. Here's an AP article speaking on what I was just talking about. Let me refresh this page. This is an Associated Press article speaking about what I was just talking about. Congress approves temporary funding and pushes the fight over the federal budget into the new year, which is stupid, which is dumb. That is not why we as taxpayers send these people to Washington to just kick the can down the road. We, especially me being a retired military member. And if you think about the people that are currently in the military, this is just one aspect of why the government needs to pass a budget so they can fund soldiers, right? So I can continue to get my benefits, and other government workers who work in the government can at least. That's just one aspect. And then when you look at paying our bills to whoever we owe money to, that's another. Listen, these people. It shows me that these people don't care about the citizens of these of our country, especially the one that put their lives on the line, their careers on the line, and just spent time trying to protect and defend this democracy, they don't care about the people who actually put them in place, because they just constantly half-ass doing whatever the hell piece of ass job that they can do just to get away with it. What's up, Frodo? They're just half-ass doing the job that they were sent there to do, and it's not okay. It's not okay for them to continue to just million and do whatever they need to do just to make it to another day. But you got to understand, in this conversation, there's a reason why it's getting done that way. And the reason, part is because of the MAGA era of politicians that has infested Washington, that has invaded the House of Representatives and Congress. And that is like a plague and a cancer on this country that causes these sorry ass weak Republicans to bend to the will of these racist Americans that don't want to see nothing done, that do want to see the government shut down, that wants to see complete chaos in this country and destroy democracy. This article says, in the threat of the government shutdown until after the holidays, Congress gave final approval to a temporary government funding package that pushes the confrontation over the federal budget into the new year. The Senate met Wednesday night to pass a bill with 87 to 11 tally and sent it to President Joe Biden. So it came out of the House and it went to the Senate. And even in the Senate, you still had 11 motherfuckers that's dumb as hell that don't want to pass a fucking budget. I can't even believe this shit. 87 to 11 tally that they sent to President Joe Biden for his signature one day after it passed the House of Representatives, overwhelmingly in an overwhelmingly bipartisan vote. It provided a funding patch into the next year, when the House and the Senate would be forced to confront and somehow overcome their considerable differences over what the funding level should be. So once again, like I said, they're kicking the can down the road and they're not really doing their fucking job. And it's just frustrating. So what's the point of even reading this damn article? Because I know they're gonna half-ass do it again. The next time it comes around. And then it goes on to say, in the meantime, the bill removes the threat of a government shutdown days before the funding would have expired. This year, there would be no government shutdown, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said at a news conference after the bill passage. Chuck Schumer is a Democrat, and he's one of these damn... I mean, I don't have issues with the Democrats, but Democrats like Chuck Schumer, who's been up there a while, I don't know what kind of arm twisting he can do to make things happen, but I don't think that he's doing what he should be doing to try to get Washington to work together. I mean, I know you can only do but so much when it comes to twisting arms and trying to get people to work with you and all that kind of stuff, but these people that's been up there for a long time, like Chuck Schumer, I think we need to hear more from them. I think there needs to be like a message coming from senior politicians like Chuck Schumer on how broke the government is and why the government is broke because of these MAGA racist ass Republicans. That's just my opinion. The spending package keeps government funding at current levels for roughly 2 more months. While the long-term package is negotiated, it splits the deadline for passing a full year's appropriation bill into 2 dates. January the 19th for some federal agencies and February the 2nd for others, creating 2 deadlines where there would be they're even creating new ways to bullshit. Why the fuck is you got 2 deadlines? It's gonna die on part of it's gonna go out on January the 19th. The other part's gonna go on February the 20th. Why? That just makes no sense to me. They're just thinking of creating new ways to bullshit and not do their damn job. Hold on. Click the back button. Everybody else is really kind of ready to vote and fight another day. Republican Whip John Thune and number 2 Republican said earlier on Wednesday, the two-step approach is not favored by many in the Senate, though all but 1 Democrat and 10 Republicans supported it because it ensured the government would not shut down. For now, Senator Patty Murray, the Washington Democrat who chairs the Senate Appropriations Committee, voted for the bill, but said it would eventually double the shutdown risk. And she's telling the truth. The spending bill also does not include the White House's nearly $106 billion request for wartime aid for Israel and Ukraine, which I think that's bullshit. Y'all know how I think about funding other countries in their endeavors to fight wars and for us to provide them bullets and tanks and planes and all that. I think it's bullshit. Unless we talk about reparations for black people in this country first, unless we use funding to stop police officers from killing black people, unless we use funding to address the slavery in America, which is in the form of the prison industrial complex, where they got the majority of the black men in prison on the planet in America. Unless you use funding to address those issues, then funding for wars and Ukraine and Israel and all that kind of bullshit, I mean, that shit is it's not important to me. It's not important to me. No, these countries should not lose their democracies, and no, they should not become autocracies and authoritarian countries. I don't want that to happen. But whenever it comes to us using money to fund these countries, America don't even use the money that it has to ensure that people in this country can make a working living wage, so all this $106 billion for other countries and wartime efforts, you can miss me with that. You can miss me with that because we have the biggest military defense budget on the planet. They spend enough money in military defense, and they don't spend enough money for its own citizens in this damn country. So all of this money that's going to these other countries, I mean, do what you can, but you got other places in the world that can fund these countries with revenue. And I don't think America should be carrying this type of burden when it comes to Ukraine and Israel, but we talked about that last week, and we know why the United States is behind Israel. It's all about some bullshit religion and power. What's up, Jermaine? Request for the wartime Israel, as well as humanitarian funding for Palestine and other supplemental requests. Lawmakers are likely to turn their attention more fully to that request after Thanksgiving, but they shouldn't. House Speaker Mike Johnson, who crafted the plan, has vowed that he will not support any further stopgap funding measures known as continuing resolutions. He portrayed the temporary funding bill as setting the ground for a spending fight that the Senate will pick up next year. So here we go. Mike Johnson is doing exactly what I said was going to happen when I first started talking. He already put his foot down this far in the process and said, look, after these two passage of these continuing resolutions, I'm not doing it no more. So Mike Johnson is telling you that he's not going to fund the goddamn government, and he's willing to have that fight to shut the government down next year, which is stupid. I don't know why they just don't pass a fucking budget. It is stupid. And Americans are so damn stupid that they think that they're being affected by the government passing these damn spending bills, that they got their constituents speaking to their politicians from whatever area, and it ain't got shit to do with us. like I said, the Federal Reserve and all that kind of bullshit. Those people are the ones that's writing checks and printing money to take care of this stuff for the most part. And our taxes mainly go to the states, and you know, we letting Lindsey Graham and Tim Scott and whoever the fuck else from South Carolina, we letting them spend our goddamn money and waste it and build themselves mansions or whatever the fuck. Tim Scott then bought him a white girlfriend and all of that. So I mean, that's where our money is going. But these people are so damn stupid. They got people up there like Mike Johnson telling the taxpayers that, you know, we need to damn say something to the government about spending money. No, what I'm saying is the government need to redirect the money that they get from the Federal Reserve back into this country so we can improve. Listen, I don't know, to be one of the first world countries, I know people don't like that term, or westernized countries, our infrastructure sucks. We got bridges falling down. While we're looking at places like Japan and other places use high-speed railways and their technology is shooting through the roof, and we ain't doing shit but running restaurants and being waiters and working at fucking McDonald's and just being a service industry, working in hotels. That's all the fuck we do over here. We don't produce shit. We don't create shit. The only thing that we make in this country is tanks and fucking bullets to send to fucking wars. That's it. It used to be a time in this country where you had textile, where you was making tennis shoes and clothes and baby clothes and all that kind of bullshit. We used to make stuff. Detroit used to make automobiles. Now that shit has been outsourced to countries that do it for cheaper and all that kind of, but we don't do shit. You know, how about taking some of that money and creating jobs in this country? Hell, you don't even have to go back to those old type of jobs because of technology. All of this technology hitting the market today is coming straight from China and Japan and Mexico. You know, we should be building these little chips and microchips and all that kind of bullshit and selling it to the rest of the fucking world. But because the United States don't have a fucking backbone or a spinal cord, they scared to speak up against China, and they scared to produce shit like that from this country so we can be competitive on the world market. So what? We let our fucking people serve fucking goddamn dinner and fix hotel beds and work at fucking McDonald's. That's about it. Ain't nothing else getting created in this goddamn country. All right, I don't even know what the hell I was talking about, but am I going to read the rest of this article? I'm probably not, because y'all get the point. This fucking Congress that just approved this damn stopgap bill or whatever the hell they calling it, it's just a bunch of bullshit. It's just further... It's just doing what they already do now, which is fucking nothing, and kick the can down the road and don't do shit. And they're not going to do shit. According to Mac Johnson, next year, he's not going to fucking pass another damn spending resolution because, you know, why not? You know, why not just shut the fucking government down? Why not just cause chaos in this damn country? Why not, you know, and the biggest, the most important thing about funding the government is people that are on assistance from the government. You know, you're talking about children starving from I don't know if they call it WIC or not, whatever, welfare and food stamps. That shit comes from the government. You know, you're talking about funding public schools. You're talking about public facilities being shut down, teachers not getting paid and all that kind of bullshit. Because these fucking MAGA idiots, these fucking racists is trying to destroy democracy. It's just sad. So what is the fucking point? At this point, that's why I titled the show "What's the Point?" Because that's the way I feel. It's like, what's the point of even addressing this dumb shit? These motherfuckers ain't gonna change stroke. They're gonna keep heading down this goddamn road to a cliff, and they're gonna drive themselves right the fuck off of it, you know? And you can't talk no sense into the head. Hell, just take Sarge for an example. He's a perfect example on how you cannot talk sense into one of these MAGA idiots. That guy's so fucking blind that, and he just so, I don't know how else to explain it. It's like It's like MAGA. You seen one of those horses, and you put the fruit in front of them, the apple in front of them, and hanging on a stick, and that horse is just gonna follow that apple wherever the fuck that apple go. That's how the fuck these MAGA people is. They're just gonna follow that damn apple, not looking to the left or the right. They're just gonna follow that apple hanging on that damn string in front of them. That's how blind they fucking are. And there's no use to even trying to have a conversation with these morons. Not whatsoever. Now, I do entertain you guys because it's funny to listen to that moron scream and yell and not make one valid point. And I let y'all laugh at him. I laugh at him, but he's a fucking idiot. He's the biggest idiot walking the face of the goddamn earth. I ain't gonna stay on Sarge no more. Well, yeah, I am, because what's making news now, like it always has been, is Donald Trump and all of these goddamn charges this damn criminal has been charged with, in Georgia and in Washington with the documents case, in New York, and the January 6th stuff, right? So they got all kind of evidence proving that what we've been saying here, well, I have anyway, about how guilty this guy is with all the indictments and all that kind of stuff. I showed you guys all the charges and all that kind of stuff. And the Republicans, the same ones that want to shut down the government, and I guarantee you if Sarge called in tonight, he want the damn government shut down because he's a dumbass and he retired out of the military, and if the government shut down, he's not going to get a goddamn check. He's not going to get his Social Security check either because that's government funded too. But he's so dumb that he will fucking starve his goddamn self to support Donald Trump and MAGA. That's how stupid these motherfuckers are. But the point that I'm trying to make is that these people don't give a fuck about destroying this country and democracy along with their own livelihood just to make a point, just to try to get at the Democrats or just to try to get at the liberals or whatever the hell they're gonna do. They don't give a shit. They don't care. They would blow it up, throw the baby out with the bathwater because MAGA, I guess. You know, it's just stupid. And I get tired, just like I just seen something flip past the screen here. Hold on. I'm gonna try to get back to it. It was about George Santos. I seen that thing come across the news today. Well, it ain't. You see, this is how the internet does. I just type his name in. And y'all know George Santos, the guy that lied to get into the House of Representatives about everything, and he's gay, and he's a cross-dresser, and all that kind of bullshit. But yeah, still, he's a Republican. Here's the CNN headlines. It said George Santos will not seek re-election. Yeah, George Santos won't seek re-election. Because there's some new information that came out about George Santos. I guess after all this time, we all knew that he was lying. The evidence was there that he was lying, and this is how the media works and how politics works. Even though we seen this guy ride a wave of lies into office, it's taken this long for him to even come up with the idea that he won't seek re-election because of his fucking lies. So I guess because of an ethics committee report, George Santos just can't fucking play this damn card no more, to where he's just being a hard line and saying, you know, he ain't really worried about and all this kind of stuff. He can't play Donald Trump any longer because of this ethics committee report. So this is a CNN article, and it said Republican George Santos announces he will not seek re-election to the House next year following the Ethics Committee release of a long-awaited report on Thursday, which concluded that there is substantial evidence that the New York congressman used campaign funds for personal purposes, right? Now, that's interesting because the ethics committee found him guilty of fraudulently using campaign funds. And this whole time, I've been telling y'all and showing y'all how Donald Trump has been fraudulently using campaign funds by having all of these fucking fundraisers and this MAGA stuff that he's saying that he's going to fight the court with and all this kind. He's soliciting money from his donors politically, and he's using it to pay for his fucking legal battles that he broke the laws with. You can't do that. But Donald Trump is doing it. If you are a politician and you're raising money for politics, you've got to use that money to run for office or use that money for politics, far as travel, far as having campaigns and all this kind of, but you don't pay your legal bills with your political fundraising, right? So this is interesting because George Santos, you know, he obviously was using campaign money for personal purposes, because the personal purposes that I'm talking about with Donald Trump would be his legal fees. They ain't nobody tell him to break the goddamn law. Breaking the law is not part of politics. So you can't use or say that whenever you broke a law, that you broke the law in the interest of running for office. You can't do that. So that's what Donald Trump is using his campaign funds for. And that's illegal, but nobody has called his ass out on that shit. You know, I mean, maybe one day they'll wake up, just like I told you they will wake up about him violating the 14th Amendment and participating in an insurrection. And under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, you cannot run for public office if you aided or abetted the fucking insurrection. That's right there in the damn 14th Amendment. But Donald Trump was the head of the damn insurrection, and they still allowing this idiot to run for fucking office. I digress. The committee said it uncovered additional uncharged and unlawful conduct by Santos that goes beyond the criminal allegations already pending against him, and would immediately refer the allegations to the Department of Justice for investigations. So I guess that might have been a bit too much for George Santos, and he said that he's not running for office no more. Santos engaged in knowingly and willful violations with regards to financial disclosures, financial statements filed with the House, according to the panel, and knowingly caused his campaign committee to file false and incomplete reports to the Federal Elections Committee. The committee concluded that Santos sought to fraudulently exploit every aspect of the House candidacy for his own personal finance and profit. Following the release of the report, Santos announced that he will not seek re-election, though he remained defiant and denounced the investigation, calling it a biased report. This is MAGA all day long. You break the fucking law, you get caught, they show you evidence, and then you call whoever caught you a lie, or it's not true, or is biased, or this is MAGA. This is the MAGA mindset. I don't know what happened to the days whenever you broke the law and you got found caught breaking the law. You just simply, my bad. Oh, oops, I got caught. They don't do that no more. They just lie and say they didn't do it. This is fucking crazy. Okay, so here's a quote from him, I guess. He said, "It's a disgusting politicized smear that shows the depth of how low our federal government has sunk. Everyone who participated in this grave miscarriage of justice should be ashamed of themselves." Listen, Santos wrote on X. That's the mindset that I'm talking about. Why did he even go on Twitter or X and write that shit when he know that he got found guilty? The reason your dumb ass ain't running for re-election is because you got caught. There is no use of you going on Twitter or X and saying this dumb shit. Even everybody know you got caught. That's why you are not running for re-election. Moron. Santos wrote on X. He went on to say, I will, however, not be seeking re-election for a second term in 2024, as my family deserves better than to be under the gun from the press all the time. No, motherfucker, you got caught. And this time you can't get away with it. And this time you can't get away with it. The report is expected to fuel an ongoing push to expel Santos and efforts that he has failed in the past despite garnering support from Republicans. And once again, he broke the law. The Republican Party, the racist Republican Party, the MAGA racist goddamn Ku Klux Klan, Proud Boys, Blue Lives Matter, or whatever the fuck, Republican Party, all got in line behind this lying piece of shit that cross-dressed down in fucking Central America and lied about it until he couldn't lie about it after they showed pictures with him with makeup on his damn face. And I'm just rambling, guys. If you guys want to call in, you can. And I'll open your line. So who's this unknown caller?
What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Jay? How you doing tonight, man?
All right. Yourself?
Oh, nothing, man. I'm just running off at my mouth about nothing because I really ain't got nothing to talk about. I'm just frustrated.
Well, you have plenty to talk about.
But I guess you.
What's the news? You telling the news.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm frustrated.
Made all this up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was gonna just say real quick because I want you to keep going. I'm not gonna cut you off, but I just wanted to add this. If you can, check the audio of him doing the interview, admitted to him lying, and then getting away with it, and him saying also, "Well, I got away with it the first time."
He said that?
They just check the interview where he admits it. You probably could just put George Santos admits on interview about lying. And play the audio. He speaks for himself. That's all. I'll go back.
So
keep listening.
Who did it?
Who was interviewing him? They showed a clip today. I don't know if it was like CBS or some shit, but they were interviewing him one-on-one in person. And he said, yeah, well, he said, yeah, but you lied to me. He said, yeah, well, I got away with it. So, it was an interview. I don't know if it was a radio. Check that out. It's there. It's there. You just got to find it.
Well, because it ain't coming up in YouTube.
He admits it. It's not like, he says it. Yeah, he said, yeah, I lied.
Oh, that's CNN look like.
I got away with it the first time, so.
Yeah, the guy in the picture looked like the CNN guy.
Yeah, like one of those dudes.
Yeah, Mangu Rugo or whoever the fuck his name is. Yeah, I'll download it as I speak. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna go back on mute though.
No problem, man. But Jay New York just brought up a valid point, and it confirms what I was saying. Is these people are so brave and callous with their bullshit that they don't mind sitting on camera and lying and just confessing to the lies because they know MAGA is so stupid that they're still going to support them. They're still going to support them, and they still can run for office because they talking to a bunch of damn zombies. So I'm going to try to download this and play this audio where and that's the screenshot that you guys looking at on the screen there, and that's the audio that I'm going to download and play it as soon as I get it on the switchboard. And like I said, guys, if y'all want to call in to the number, you can call in at 717-908-1834 and hit the access code at 917-324, and I'll open your line and get you guys on the to join the conversation, and we can work it like that. Hold on, wait a minute, hold on. I'm about to get you right here. All right, so hopefully this is the interview that Jay New York just shared with us about Santos admitting that he's lying. So I'm going to upload this, and then you guys can hear it for your damn selves. All right, let's see what this says. Okay, so here it is.
A year ago, few ever heard the name George Santos. But after winning a House seat in 2022, much of his life was exposed as a lie. He became a joke on late night TV and a pariah in Congress. And when he arrived in Washington 10 months ago, he wanted nothing to do with those of us in the Capitol Hill press corps. Mr. Santos, why did you lie to your voters about your qualifications, your past, being Jewish? What has the speaker said to you, Mr. Santos?
When you stop lying in your really bad reporting, I'll start talking.
So, wait, you actually were on a volleyball team? Is that right? What was the source of your funds, sir? What was the source of that money? So you said you would explain the changes in your campaign finance filings. You have not done that yet. Why is that? Why haven't you explained that yet? He has a very different attitude now. He agreed to sit with me on Friday, even as he's facing 23 federal criminal charges related to, among other things, how he raised and spent money for his campaign. He has pleaded not guilty. He did notch a win last week when the House defeated a resolution to expel him from Congress, but that could be short-lived. The House Ethics Committee is nearly done with its own investigation of Santos, and that could trigger another expulsion vote. He told me that even if he loses that vote, he'll run again in 2024. So if they expel you and then they put someone else in the seat, you're going to run in 2024.
Absolutely.
Can you win a primary given all these
Yes.
things that are lined up against you?
Yes.
And the general election. This is a Biden-leaning district, and you have all these issues against you.
Could I have won the general election last time? Nobody said I could, but I
It
still
was a
tried.
different situation.
No, I understand, but elections are tricky. There's no predetermined outcome.
What is the rationale for running for re-election? Why should a voter entrust you with 2 more years?
Manu,
what have you done to deserve re-election?
Manu, I am the most conservative New Yorker in the entire delegation with the most conservative record of all my colleagues. I'm the only one that if you look at my campaign website and the campaign promises as far as policies I made, I haven't broke a single promise. You look at all my other colleagues, they all break promises. They all bend and vote one way or another to benefit whatever special interest is in this state.
But they're not facing federal charges.
That's fine. But here's, at the end of the day, the people are sick and I go back home. I go into, you call it rallies, protests. I'm in the fray with them. They love it because I represent their voice here. They like the fact that I'm a scrappy guy. I come here, I do my job, and they feel like it's one of them here.
So on these charges, is there any chance you would accept a plea deal?
I'm not exploring any of that right now, right? Those conversations are yet to be had.
But they may happen.
I don't know. I don't know. Right now, I'm pretty focused on my defense and putting together my defense with my attorney.
But you're not ruling out a plea deal. From what I'm hearing,
I'm not saying I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not ruling out. As of right now, it's not on the table.
Yeah, but as of tomorrow, it could be, I suppose.
Like I said, I don't know.
The feds are saying that you and your campaign treasurer conspired to make it appear your campaign was hitting fundraising benchmarks to get on the radar of GOP officials. You say, did you know about this?
Manu, I never, ever submitted or even looked at a single report. So obviously, for me to sit here and unpack this for you, I essentially ruin my defense.
Sure,
right?
I understand
so
that.
I can just tell you this to save you the time.
Yeah.
As far as all the allegations, remember how a campaign works. I'm a candidate. Candidates do not handle money. Candidates do not handle finances. Candidates do not handle filings. I don't even know what the FEC filing system looks like, to give you a well-rounded.
But they say that they have text messages and emails where you guys are talking about all of this.
I would love to see them.
Do you not believe what it says in the indictment?
It's not that I don't believe. It's really easy to take things out of context.
Because one of the things they say is that there's a $500,000 loan that you made.
I made $500,000.
But you had $8,000 in your bank account, and there's no evidence that
like
$500,000 loan was made.
I can guarantee you that I made the financial loans to my campaign that are on the record.
So, but even though you didn't have the money in your account, so where did that come from?
I'm very interested to know where they get that information.
So that's you're saying is
I'm
completely.
I'm totally going to defend that. Yep, 100%.
Because Nancy Marks, your treasurer, she said in court, I did these things in agreement with co-conspirator number 1, that's you, for his benefit to obtain money for the campaign by artificially inflating his funds to meet thresholds set by National Political Committee. So why would she say that?
people will say whatever they have to say, cut whatever deal they have to cut in order to save their hide. And this isn't surprising. I don't know why people
So
are
she's
so
making
stuck.
this up in court?
I'm not accusing her of anything. All I'm saying is she has her story. I'm going to come with my facts, and I'm going to tell my side of the
Because they're
story.
saying that you got credit card information from donors and jacked up their contributions beyond the federal campaign finance limits. And
I didn't even.
I can
didn't-
show you the
No,
citations
I've
here.
seen the citations,
Yeah.
Manu. I didn't even handle donations. A lot of that happened in our campaign, and whenever people would say, "Oh, I got charged again," we would refund them. It's on the reports,
Sure.
at least to the best of my
But
knowledge.
they're saying
we
the
would
donor
refund them.
contacted you directly.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to get into specifics. I can say that I did not handle donations in my campaign.
Because in one case it says it even went to your personal bank account. Roughly
Yeah.
$12,000. You bought designer goods. You benefit yourself with a donor's
So
money.
essentially, everything I do, everything I've ever spent in my account is going to be deemed as, oh my God, George Santos stole money. George Santos bought designer clothes. That's what I buy. I mean, I've been a client of the same stores for many years, and if you go through my closet, you'll see it's not like I amassed and bought all my clothes, all my shoes in the last campaign.
Okay, so obviously you're very much denying that. Are you also? You had mentioned that perhaps there was some issue with the jobless benefits because the allegation of the indictment is that you defrauded them, pretended you were unemployed. There were $24,000 in jobless benefits. Is that true?
Look, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of the pandemic. I beg differ to say that the entire country can get indicted. I'm pretty sure, based on how crazy times were.
So, but you admit there was something
I'm not admitting
amiss.
anything. I'm
Yeah.
saying that I did, in my defense, what I think I was qualified for. Now, let's make this very clear. In any other circumstance, a person that goes and takes a unemployment check and then God willing, like, oh no, you actually didn't qualify because you quit, you were not terminated, so you didn't qualify for benefits. You don't indict that person. You know what? Every single time it happens, they go ahead and deduct it from your taxes. They put a lien on you. Oh, you can't take unemployment benefits. Oh, every year they'll just chip away at it slowly. I got indicted.
Mm-hmm.
So just put that on the scale.
So you're saying this is a common error.
I'm not saying common
$24,000
error.
is a lot of money.
I'm not saying common error, and I'm not saying $24,000 is not a lot of money. I'm just saying there's people out there who have gone through this process of overtaking a check or two or whatever the case is, and then just having to pay it back. But nobody gets it criminally indicted. It's crazy.
In the indictment, it says, and this is a serious part, about filing false reports with the House. Allegedly, they said you made up your income. And that could be a problem for your ethics pro. What happened? I mean, did you not list your income properly here?
All I can say is, first, no, that's not true. Second, were there mistake made on those forms? I know they were. Were they malicious? No. And I'm a new candidate, and I'm sorry that mistakes were made. But here's another thing. Every time somebody suspects there's a mistake on your ethics report, you know what happens? The ethics committee reaches out and said, hey, this looks funky. Guess what happened? That never happened.
So you acknowledge mistakes were made on your
I've
income.
acknowledged that, not my income, on the forms.
Yeah.
I've
How did
acknowledged
that happen?
Manu, I didn't understand the forms. That's just plain and simple.
But you filled out those forms.
With some help, but most of them, yes.
I wonder just as running a campaign, you're putting this a lot on the treasurer. You're the chief of the campaign.
That's not true.
You're not, but you're in charge, right?
No, that's not true.
Should the buck stop at you is my question.
Well, the buck should stop at the candidate. That's true.
I want to take you back to this scene on the House floor this week. It was so intense. You heard from your colleagues going after you in very, very personal terms. Before we get into the details of it, what was that moment like for you?
Oh, that moment for me was I at that point I understood politics. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It's about political expedience. And I understood that wholeheartedly.
So the New York freshman Republicans are doing this for...
It's all political. They wanted to go on the record that they so much so reject me that they did this on the House floor so they can save face locally back home. I'm not going to sit here and continuously debate my entire life. Look, as a human being, have I made mistakes? Have I owned up to them? Yes, I have. But it feels like everybody wants to obsess over that. I wish
But
and
it's
hope.
kind of important, right?
Well,
What you
is
said about your
important.
past.
No, look, it's important, Manu. It would be also important if every single person in this building with a glass house stopped throwing stones at other people and started looking at themselves, right? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that these guys don't talk about themselves that they would hate for me to come here and sit and talk to you about. There's so many more questions that can be asked, but you all insist on going down the same path.
But it's important because
It's
your
important.
voters thought they were electing
Manu,
one person.
nobody
and that wasn't
elected
true.
me. Nobody elected me because I played volleyball or not. Nobody elected me because I graduated college or not. People elected me because I said I'd come here to fight the swamp. I'd come here to lower inflation, create more jobs, make life more affordable, and the commitment to America. That's why people voted for anybody. To say that they voted based on anybody's biography, I can beg you this. Nobody knew my biography. Nobody opened my biography who voted for me in the campaign.
But you acknowledge, though, fabricating large portions of your life. So why did that? I'm just wondering. People want to know why.
Manu,
why did he do
Manu,
it?
we've gone through this. I've gone through this on Pierce Morgan. I've gone through
Sure.
this with Aaron
But it's
Burnett.
still a question.
Look,
It's
I
still
get
a
it.
question.
How about we talk? Look, we know all
But
the
can you
things
just answer
did.
me? But why? But why?
I've already told you this. It's insecurity, stupidity. I don't know. Look, I'm human. We make mistakes. I've apologized, and I will continue to apologize profusely for this, and with remorse. I am the first one to jump and say, I messed up. I made a mistake. Let me fix this.
Tell me what this year has been like for you.
Hell. Hell in the most profound way.
All right. I don't know if it hit on that area that Jay said, but I can say that this interview is the problem, and the reason that I asked the question, what's the point? Because you're looking at a mainstream media outlet conduct an interview with an obvious fucking criminal, a politician who has lied his way up the ladder to get access to power, and you don't see this media outlet pushing as hard as they should against this obvious liar and criminal, right? And the answers that he gave was pretty much anybody would do it. I'm a new candidate. I make mistakes. It's not my fault. Somebody else was in charge of the campaign. Don't throw bricks in a glass house and all this kind of dumb shit, right? So that's him deflecting and pushing away responsibility and accountability when you ran for the position to be in charge and to be in leadership. And part of a leadership is taking accountability, right? And in this interview, that's not what he's doing. So for him to be elected to begin with, or selected, because that's what I think he was. He was selected because people thought he could get away with these lies. But for him to be elected to begin with, and the people of New York not hold this guy accountable or vet him to the point to where they found out he was lying so he wouldn't get access to power. And then when he did get access to power, it paid off for the Republicans because the Republicans needed that seat in order to be in charge of the House of Representatives. So they didn't give a fuck whether this man was lying. They didn't care if he dressed in drag. They didn't care, even though he's a Republican, and you know the Republicans are all against LGBTQ. Here's the picture of George Santos in drag. This was discovered after he was elected, right? You can tell that's him. He was down in Central America wearing the damn dress and dancing on stages and shit. The Republicans didn't give a shit about none of that. They just needed that damn seat so they could remain in power. And in his interview, he said some shit that just don't even make good damn sense. Like I said, I didn't handle my finances. Somebody else did. You're the candidate, motherfucker. You're the one that's in charge. Everything, the buck stops and starts with you. So, but on this interview, CNN allowed him to say that, I didn't handle it, and then continue to say things like, I'm not going to get into specifics, whenever the reporter was actually saying, hey, we got the documents and we have information showing that these people testified against you and presented this evidence against you. And he would always say, I'm not going to get into the specifics and all that kind of stuff in this interview. And whenever it came to the pandemic funding, no, George Santos, didn't nobody except for you motherfucking crooks that knew how to take advantage or thought that you knew how to take advantage of the system and use these PPP loans and steal money, my money. Now that's my taxpayer money going into the PPP loans, and steal my goddamn money defraudulently and use it for your own personal means. You see? So these guys are fucking thieves and robbers and liars and all this kind of bullshit. And I wonder, let me ask Jay, did it hit that part that you was talking about, Jay?
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's not the interview. I think it was with he mentioned Piers Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the interview. I'm not sure, but that's not the interview because in the interview he admitted. He said, "Yeah, you lied to the people. Yeah, well, you know that's what they do." He admitted this is not the interview. I wish I would have paid attention to who it was, but they were out and out interviewing him, and he admitted it that he lied. You know, that's what they do. He brushed it off, but he admitted to it. That was Manu Raju or whatever from CNN. That was a weak ass interview.
Yeah.
CNN needs to stop kissing ass and playing baby and these people, whether Democrat or Republican.
Yeah, that was a weak interview, man. That's what I know, and that's what CNN is doing, man. Is they don't. I don't know. It seems like the mainstream media just don't even ask the hard questions of these crooked ass politicians, you know. And
they're thinking about the ratings. That's all they're caring about. It just seems like that's all it's about. It's the ratings.
Right.
Sponsors, views.
And
like the internet.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why these people are able to get away. Back in the day, they used to be vetted. As soon as you say something wrong, you was out of the damn runnings. You know, but yeah, this interview is 40 minutes long. Hold on.
No, there's a piece though. You gotta find it. They played it today on TV.
Piers Morgan's. So this one is 8 months. It must not have been Piers Morgan.
This was recent, man.
Yeah, so I don't know who it was. I just put it in.
I'll look it up and see if I find it throughout the night. I'll get it for you.
Yeah, just give me the title and then I'll Google it.
All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Like I said, if you guys want to call in, the number is 717-908-1834, and the access code is 917-324. And Sister Lisa, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
I'm okay, Tyrone. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing. Just up here running my mouth about politics. I ain't been really paying attention to what's been going on social media or anything, you know, but you might have some insight.
You know what? I haven't been either. Hey, Jay, I haven't been either because I told you my dad was sick, and so I had to do that emergency leave out of town.
Right.
And I started to because I was going to fly down, but I'm getting ready to throw some shade at your state. Flying into South Carolina, it's not flying into other states because it's tied to the airport. So I had already made up my mind I was going to fly in. It's always doubly expensive to fly in and out of South Carolina. But then my cousin said, well, I'm going to go. Let's go. We could just go. So we left Thursday. She got one of these new hoity-toity, very expensive BMWs. So we was like, let's go. And I was going to listen to the show while we were on the way. But then I thought about it. I said, it's no telling what y'all are going to start talking about.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't listen because Sarge is on here and he was in rare form. So you made a good decision.
Yeah, and then I was going to have to say, this is just a show I listen to. I don't know them, but there's somebody allowed me to mention my name or something. So I thought better of it not to listen, but we went down, we came back, and he's on the mend, and so I'm going back down, not next week, because it's Thanksgiving week, I'm going to go the following week. And Tyrone, I'm going to try my best to, while we're down there, because I'm going to be a little longer down there, and on the way back through Columbia, if it's a good time, I'll let you know.
Okay.
And then we could finally meet in person and have a cup of coffee. But this was just so quick, in and out. We left, let me see, we got down there Friday early, and was there all day. and then we left out Saturday, early, and was back in D.C. Well, then we stopped along the way to a lot of the places on the way. Got back sometime Saturday evening. And that, them hard trips when you're trying to push it and do a turnaround and come back. That's why I don't like to drive. It's hard on the body, but
Well, is
I'll be back
your
down
daddy
there.
getting better or?
Yes, he's on the mend, and because I was a little scared for a bit, but a lot of it was from being hard-headed instead of letting them people do what they need to do for you. So I was a little scared, but not a little scared. I was real scared, he's on the mend, and look like he's gonna be. He's like he's gonna be on the mend, and he's gonna be back to his old self shortly. So that's a good thing. But I have to admit, I was real scared because we had a lot of deaths in the family in the past 2 months. My niece, then my mom's sister, and it's been a lot. And I was like,
Yeah, to sneak
no,
up on you. I just had a cousin, get in a car accident and passed away. I just went to a funeral this past weekend. So yeah, it does sneak up on you. So
it sneak up on you, and I was like, I cannot. We had even more deaths than that, just different. And was like, and then with his wife and them called, because my father's remarried, that he was ill, and how they was talking, it didn't sound good. So then my father's sister's children, I was like, I'm gonna need y'all to go and be my eyes for me and let me know what you think. And then they went, and the oldest one said, I think you need to come. And when she said that like that, I was scared. And then my brother was like, just go ahead and go. And I didn't want him to go with me because if it is really bad and I have to go now, somebody might have to turn around and go later. You see what I'm saying? So I'll just go. And it wasn't good, but then, when he went in hospital, but then when they said he was on the mend, and as I was leaving, before I left, I was seeing that he was better on the mend. Then he started doing better, and they put him in the hospital. He's out of the hospital now, at home, getting better. So I think he's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. I'm almost sure.
That's good.
It was just it was off. It was just awful. But that's what was happening. Why I missed y'all last week. But I started to listen because I wanted some laughs. I was like, I don't know,
Yeah. Like I said, you made the right decision because Sarge was on there, and then Mays called in, and then it was over with. Then I guess so you're not sorry to get.
Now if it was just me, I would have called in and talk and listen, cut thumb with y'all while I was driving down there. But with somebody else, they would look at me like, where you knew these people from? That type of concern, tell us what would go on. Because that's kind of like, mixed company.
Yeah.
That's very mixed company. My mother has listened to the show, periodically throughout, since this show became. So she's kind of used to it, and then she laughs. But other people, that's mixed company. They not going to understand. You know that, kind of.
Yeah.
They're not going to understand. They're not going to understand. But I have lost in the sauce with a whole bunch of stuff that has been going on. Even as I got back, I've been trying to keep up with the news, with the conflict going on in the Gaza.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
And that food that you all was just talking about. Then I'm scared about the Joe Biden. They talking about the polling and how he's not polling well because of the handling of the conflict over in the Gaza. Yeah, it's just.
Well, what are they saying Joe Biden did wrong in Israel? Now I don't get that part.
No,
it's his
giving weapons.
His handling of it, and still wanting them to send more weapons. But this is the thing that I think his meeting with the China's with the president, prime minister, anyway, that is so far he's getting good ratings in that. But it's his handling. It's like giving Israel the green light to just do it.
Oh yeah.
But and saying no, that he doesn't, he's not going to ask for no ceasefire. But I think people, and a lot of black people, but people who are standing with the lives of the Palestinians, which I do, but I think some of them are being a little unfair to Joe Biden. And this is what I mean by this. This isn't Joe Biden's policy. That's the United States policy. And it's not only the United States policy, it's the Western countries, the West. It's the policy of all of the countries that Israel has always been given the green light to kind of sort of do what they want to do. Then I saw a lot of people saying that, the type of money that the United States sends to Israel every year. And a lot of people have gotten involved with this because of what they've seen, the atrocities and things that's going on. And they was like, United States was like, no, United States being giving Israel this money.
Oh yeah.
Other Western countries give. So they didn't just start. You all really need to get into this. To get a little bit more study, get a better understanding. And other Western countries give them money too. They didn't just start giving them money and supplying them with weapons and things when Joe Biden became president. They've been doing that. This has always been the policy, that they protect Israel at all costs. And you need to get into why. It's not as simple as you all think, that they just protected them because of love of them so much. It's not that. And you all have to get into why they do. And it's not a very simple reason why they do. Israel gives it's almost a give and take. The United States don't do anything without what's in it for me type of a relationship. That's how it's always worked within every nation. And Israel gives them their positioning, and it gives them somebody right smack dab in the Middle East.
Yeah. We really don't. It really ain't a fair exchange because, like you said, the proximity to that area of the world is pretty much all the United States get. While we giving them weapons and money and basically paying the Jewish people reparations for something that the United States didn't even do to them.
Exactly. But that is so that we can have a stronghold in that region. That is the only reason. It is not of love of anybody. It is not because of religion. It is because Israel allows the United States to have a stronghold, to have a base,
right?
To do
have
what
a
they
base
want over in the Middle East. That is the reason why. It's not what a lot of people think, like it's love of them. Because I was watching a pretty good breakdown video that the Young Turks did, I think it was last week, that the different U.S. presidents that despised Netanyahu, and they did not give him and do like, he didn't want the United States to sign that treaty thing with Iran, so they were trying to get their nuclear program going. And they signed that thing, they agreed with it, and Netanyahu did not want the United States to do that. And the United States should have done that. And I didn't remember because I wasn't following that when that was going on. But Netanyahu came and spoke with the House and the Senate about not doing that. Because he's always wanted war with Iran. And Obama said, let him come. And he spoke he spoke with the House and the Senate that he did not want them to do that deal. And the deal basically was for them to disarm. Now, that's the last country you want all armed up. And they heard what he had to say and said thank you, and they did the thing anyway, was something that needed to be done. And then they showed all the clips where Obama was talking, him and the French president was talking trash about Netanyahu on an open mic. Donald Trump despised, he did like him, but did he turn against Netanyahu? W did not like him. Clinton did not. A lot of U.S. presidents do not like Netanyahu because they said that he is a snake and a liar. But the reason why they support Israel, again, not because of religion, not because of love, is because they allow them to have that presence that they want in the base in the Middle East. That is the only reason why they support them the way that they do.
And they can sell them the weapons, the weapon defenses too, missiles and all that. Think about it.
But
right?
If it was not for and if it was not for that, what is it? What's in it for us? The United States wouldn't
do nothing. They'll let it blow up, like they doing in Sudan right now. Like right now, Sudan is going through war right now again. They just re-erupted, which never disrupted.
Right.
It re-erupted, and why is not the attention over there?
We don't even talk about Sudan. Nobody mentions Sudan because there's a black people over there getting slaughtered.
Well, they were talking about it until this.
No, they talked about it, but where's the focus at? That's the thing. It's like, where is the focus? Why is it that your interest is not as important as over there? And it tells you exactly what it is. That America deals with you and cares about you when you are an asset to them. When we getting out of you. We care about you only when we getting something out of it. That's it. Plain and simple. Whatever it is we got to get something out of it. It's money, location, we selling you some shit. It's always about, I'm going to protect you, but only because I'm getting something out of you. If you dying and you burning and whatever, we don't care. It's like the same thing. Oh, well, they're not gaining money. They don't have a lot of money coming in from the Gaza or Palestine, right, or that section or those people, right? So it's not a interest to them to protect those people. It's like, well, Israel is the one that got the land. They got this. They got some money. We're gonna help them out. We need that location. Same thing why they doing with Saudi Arabia. We could see what happened with Saudi Arabia. They cut that journalist, killed them, chopped them up in pieces. America says, oh, we don't deal with terrorists, countries, and dictators. And what is it doing?
Yep.
Snuggling in love with Saudi Arabia.
They have interest there. They have interest. But if they don't have interest in you, then woe is you. And that's what a lot of people don't understand.
And let's question this whole Hamas shit.
But the thing is, go ahead, but the problem is, they should, the people are blaming Joe Biden. It doesn't matter. If Trump got back in, it would be even worse. If Trump was back in president, he would have nuked Gaza weeks ago. So, it would even be worse. They have interest there. And people have to understand that they have an interest there. That is the only reason that they are supporting them. It is not because of love. And there's been U.S. presidents, Ronald Reagan, even back when he was president, when they was pushing those settlements and stuff further in Gaza, they would condemn Israel. They condemned them many times for pushing them settlements. Barack used to condemn the hell out of Netanyahu for constantly expanding those settlements because you're.
Well, yeah, that's one thing Obama did do. Yeah, Obama did. He wasn't too tough, but he was tough enough to let you know that he wasn't all for Israel and all that kind of stuff.
But he has to suck up to it because it's the country's interest, just like with Biden. The country has this, contract that is maybe not a physical contract, but it has agreed upon to protect it in exchange of you giving me access to that land. We need intelligence. If we need to strike one of them countries, we got all our shit there. If we need any materials, we got that shit there. Also, Israel is like the biggest spy, right? Bigger than probably the U.S., they say. They have a lot of intelligent type shit, counterintelligence, all this shit. So they use them for that, too. It's like, all right, so y'all guys making cameras, all this spy shit, we need that, too. America loves spying on people, too. There you go. They got a beautiful, marriage.
They have a beautiful setup. And a lot of people, people don't get this. If you all think the United States is going to give away that setup and just, demand that they might a ceasefire. But if they do, I do think that at some point Biden is going to call them and make them do a ceasefire. But,
well, it's not going to be a ceasefire, and the reason that Israel is doing what they're doing, they just needed a reason that Hamas gave them to commit, to commit genocide, on the Palestinians.
They want them out of there. They want that corner. Let's not get this twisted. They want that whole piece of land.
They trying to wipe the Palestinians off the damn map. I watched Morning Joe this morning almost cry and justify fucking blowing up the goddamn hospitals. That was stupid. I was like,
I used to like him. He sounded real stupid.
Yeah. He damn near started crying but by blowing up that damn hospital and trying to justify it for the goddamn Jews. I was like, what the hell wrong with this dude?
He sounds awful. I heard this part of the same broadcast. And I was like, I used to like Morning Joe, but I see where he's at. And what's the black dude that he spoke at? They had the march for Israel.
Oh no, don't tell me. Brother Hakeem Jeffries, why were you there at that march in D.C.?
Yeah, Hakeem, I was
like, come on, bro.
Oh man, that sucks. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was surprised that Hakeem.
But see, those politicians, listen.
Listen, that comes with the position that he has, because I'm pretty sure he probably personally didn't want to go. But you know what? They said, well, you're the leader, you're the house leader, you're going to have to show face. Plus, you're a black man, you got to show your support from the black community, this, that, the other.
I was getting ready to say the same thing, Jay, because Hakeem Jefferson got some radical shit in his past, and they brought that up. Yeah. So, but you know, he don't want to.
He was saying, listen, real quick, if he was in a different position than what he's in, he would have been burning, or talking on against the shit that's happening, guaranteed. But now he got to kiss that ass because he's dealing with the position and who's running the show around him.
Yeah.
A lot of investors and donors and shit.
Yeah, those politicians don't want to get labeled as anti-Semite, and because look at what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing now. She all yelling that she support the Jewish people when she the one talking about Jewish space lasers and George Soros and all this kind of bullshit.
Right.
Okay, who's this unknown caller on the line?
Man, you and these pat narratives, man, they got to go. I got to straighten your ass out. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. It is beyond ridiculous, some of the things you say. First of all, get one thing straight. Look, I'm not for Israel or against Israel. I'm from my country. But I'm getting sick of these damn distortions and outright lies about the history of that region. It's irritating the hell out of me now. In 2005, under Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel, Israel completely withdrew from the Gaza Strip. By law, they forbade any Jews to settle in the Gaza Strip. They left the governance of Gaza Strip to the Palestinians, to include allowing them to elect a terrorist organization as their government. And then you're over here telling me that and then on top of it, here they are committing another. You accuse Israel of committing war crimes by attacking hospitals. Well, it's a war crime to co-locate your military centers within hospitals. That is a war crime as well. And it is not a war crime when you attack your enemy after he uses a hospital or other off-limits area like a monastery or a church as cover for his activities. It is not a war crime. It is a war crime to do what I just said. By international law, Fourth Hague Convention. So you need to stop with these things you're saying because they're not true.
When I was talking about the settlements pushing in, I was talking about the West Bank, not Gaza. I'm talking about the West Bank.
The West Bank is a different matter, and much of that is in the Israeli courts. They are sorting it out in the Israeli courts. They're not saying the people don't have a right to bring their case to the courts there. It is being settled there, but it's not good enough for them because they want Israel to not exist. That is the only thing that's going to satisfy them.
Okay, you said that we were talking about stuff that we were wrong on. We were not talking about pushing the settlements in Gaza.
Okay.
I was talking about the bank.
Okay, there's been literally about documented since 2015 something like 10,000 attacks, rocket and otherwise, from the West Bank. They use it as a staging area to launch attacks on Israel. They do it in dribs and drabs, and cumulatively, it's added up to be about that many. What sovereign nation's going to put up with that? You think we put up with that from Mexico? How long do you think we put up with it?
All right, so hold on. Let me just say this right here. Go ahead.
Ronald Reagan, George H. Bush, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, they were all wrong for chastising Israel for still pushing those settlements on the West Bank. So you're saying that they were wrong.
I didn't say that. What I said was, and I was very specific when I said it, the issue of the settlements is being heard in the Israeli courts.
All right. So at least you got to turn up your phone a little bit. But guys, Sarge come on here screaming about war crimes and all that kind of stuff. But here's what I'm trying to say over here.
Yeah, it is a war crime. Okay. So look up the Geneva, look up the Fourth Geneva Convention.
Tonight, I'm going to mute you whenever I start talking and you start talking. Don't do that, brother. Shut the fuck up and let me get what the hell I got to say out of my damn mouth. God damn, I just said 2 words and your motherfucking ass want to yippity yap and not let me get it out. Now, Sarge came on here saying that somebody accused Israel of war crimes or whatever the fuck. This is what I'm saying. Look at the screen. Since the 1945 or whatever the fuck agreement and Israel started killing all these damn Palestinians, listen, there's 28 resolutions from the United Security Council that Israel fucking violated in its agreement with fucking Palestine. This is why these people are pissed off. Now, how many fucking resolutions has the fucking goddamn Palestinians broke? Sarge. Now, look. This is the reason that they're pissed off, and to try to validate them blowing up fucking hospitals after they done violated these goddamn resolutions, Sarge, is just bullshit. Jesus Christ, what the fuck wrong with you?
The resolutions were suspended or dismissed after the Palestinians, particularly Hamas and the PLO, failed to live up to their end of the agreements and cease the attack. There are now, look, I'm going to tell you something. I do not blame any country. I wouldn't care if it was the Chinese or the Uyghurs, and I hope the Uyghurs do prevail in China. But any sovereign nation that sees a threat to their national security is going to do much the same thing. They see it as a threat to their national security. It is real. It is not imagined. And they put that as a predominant measure over any other agreement, and well, they should. I wish this country was as resolute as they are.
All right, so listen, I want y'all to pay attention to this one right here. And this is start the fuck up. This one right here. Look, shut up. It's illegal to take land by force and claim sovereignty. This law has violated the UN Charter, Article 2.4 in 1945, Declaration on Principle of International Law concerning friendly relations, principles 1 of 1970. So Israel is claiming sovereignty in that area when they shouldn't. That is illegal. And Sarge is on here to back up Israel's sovereignty claim over that whole goddamn area besides the West Bank and Gaza and Gaza, which Israel should not be claiming sovereignty over that fucking Palestinian occupied fucking goddamn land. Now you can yell and scream all night if you want to, but that's the type of shit that I'm talking about, Sarge.
Hey, chronologically challenged man. When did Israel obtain the West Bank and Gaza?
God,
just answer me.
No, man.
When?
I'm done.
You brought up the issue. Now why don't you back it up? Back it up, damn it!
I'm done.
You just said this resolution that they passed in 1970 that they're not complying with. When did they get it? When did they get it?
God.
When did they obtain the West Bank and Gaza?
Charts, you know, since you love,
you're full of shit.
Since you love Netanyahu,
you don't know what you're talking about.
support.
And now you gotta call me names. Fuck you, nigga. You're stupid and ignorant.
Oh God. You know what, Sarge? Go ahead, Elisa.
Oh, can you hear me better, Tyrone?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, now I was just going to say, why are we arguing and cursing? There's no need to argue and curse about this.
Okay, one more time. Every time I say something, he dismisses it and goes to something else. He brought up this resolution passed in 1970, and Israel got those territories in 1967. Idiot.
So if you want to talk about 1967, let's talk about Israel blowing up a fucking naval vessel for the Americans in 1967. You remember that, motherfucker?
For which they paid reparations and issued diplomatic apologies.
No, listen, guys. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Shut up. Israel's supposed to be our ally. Let me find the fucking ship. I think of the USS Liberty. USS Liberty. Israel attacked the USS Liberty and kill American soldiers and all that kind of bullshit. And Sarge is on here fucking defending these people like they the best thing since sliced fucking bread. Sarge, you sound stupid as fuck. These are fucking terrorists.
I'm going to say it again because you got a hard motherfucking head and you don't listen. I said I am a natural born citizen of the United States. My first concern is the United States. If our interests do not align with those of the Israelis, I say America first and let Israel fend for itself. Now, I've always said that. You, on the other hand, though, being a blockhead and someone who's utterly ignorant of history, you know what you're talking about. You just repeat past phrases with no historical analysis whatsoever. And that's what irritates the hell out of me about this past clock trap you're peddling tonight. And as far as the liberty goes, again, I have my suspicions about why the Israelis attacked the Liberty. I don't hold them 100% innocent for what they did, but it was handled diplomatically. They paid reparations, and yeah, I know all about the Liberty, including the heroic captain of the ship who was awarded the Medal of Honor. Don't think I haven't studied the matter. I have. You want to talk liberty? Let's talk liberty, nigga.
All right, so Sarge, listen.
Whenever you're ready, let me know.
Okay, calm down. We need to calm down. We need to bring it down a notch or two, okay?
You're damn right we do. Let's stick with the facts.
We know that you support Benjamin Netanyahu.
I don't support him at all. I'm not against him or for him. What I am is for the truth and the right of every sovereign nation to defend itself against an attack. I don't care what nation it is. And I hate Red China too. But they're a sovereign nation and they have the right to defend themselves against an attack like this. I don't care what nation it is.
Are you for Palestinians?
No, not the way they're doing it. Hell no. Hell no, not the way they're doing it. Hell no. Now look, if they want to say, here's what they're doing. If they want to say might makes right, and oftentimes it does, and they say, well, this state of affairs for us is intolerable, so we need a military solution. I understand that too, because that's the way most nations in the history of the world were formed, might making right. And if they can prevail, then they're going to be the victors, and Israel will be swept in the dustbin of history. Israel's not going to allow that if they can help it. We will see. If they're going to say the state is so untenable to us, we have to fight, then let them fight, and let's see what happens.
All right, so I'm going to mute you for a second. Sarge said that he's for might makes right? But here's the deal with the Palestinians. The Palestinian was not getting funded by weapons or finances from Western countries like in the way that Israel is, right? So Israel is outgunned. I'm going to say the Palestinians are way outgunned by Israel. And when Sarge say might makes right is actually him saying, okay, since the Palestinian is getting more funded than the Israel's are getting more funded than the fucking Palestinians, then whoever come out on top, that's who he's for. But he's gonna be for fucking Israel because even with the Muslim countries over there, they don't. Saudi Arabia, and all them countries in that area, they don't support the Palestinians. I don't know what it was. It's some shit about the Sunni and the Shiite and whatever the fuck. But Palestinians was not getting supported like that financially or militarily. From even the Islam countries over there. So Sarge said might makes right, so he's gonna be for Israel. So that's what it is.
Who got the money is what it ends up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Even in their own, even in them Arab countries, they do the same shit.
Yep.
It's about classism. So if they don't break down race, because they're all the same race or nationality, but yet they break each other up into religion. Oh, well, I'm this part of the religion. Oh, you're this. I'm that. We're still in the same religion, but I'm different than you. Oh, I got more money than you, so I'm going to treat you like shit.
Right.
That's what happens. So there's those people. You've got Arab countries that are poorer than others, like Africa, too, in certain ways. And that's the European mentality that implements a lot of that shit. That separation. Coming in, let y'all fight it out instead of trying to have them fix it and empower them so they could be on their own and independent. And then America don't got to get involved in none of that shit.
Yeah, that's why Sarge would never be for a damn Palestinian baby getting blown up by Israel. He would never show any sympathy.
Oh, for God's sake. What kind of stupid... Man, look, let me tell you something, man. You know, I responded to what you said a moment ago when I told you about the fact that that Palestine is conducting asymmetrical warfare. They know they cannot match the Israelis in terms of firepower, equipment, training, or anything else. They know that. That is why they deliberately commit the war crime of insinuating themselves in the civilian population. They know they have to conduct asymmetrical warfare, and that is why they choose to use the civilian population to do exactly that. I am exactly acknowledging that Israel has the upper hand militarily. But that does not mean that simply because they have the upper hand militarily, they can't use it. I mean, the Branch Davidians were significantly outgunned by the power of the federal government, but you wouldn't have any problem with telling them to send tanks in there and blow them the fuck up.
You know what? Hold
on. Wait, hold on. I just want to be clear for this question, Jay. Earlier, I asked Sarge.
Yeah, but you got no answer to that, though, do you? You're going to go on to something else.
No, because Frodo just made a point in the chat room, and I want to clarify it. Earlier, I asked Sarge if he was for the Palestinians, and he said no. And Frodo wanted me to make a distinction between the Palestinians and Hamas. So I'm going to ask Sarge again, is he for the Palestinians?
Okay, maybe I didn't pay attention to the remark. I will say this much, though. The Palestinian civilian population overwhelmingly elected their terrorist government. Overwhelmingly. They didn't have to cheat in that election. They won that election easily. They knew what they were electing. They were electing an organization that was determined to annihilate Israel in its charter statement. No, I am not for, even despite that, I am not for anyone that's wantonly killing civilians, causing them harm, causing them not to have water or medical supplies. I am not, but this is war. That is why they said, wait, let me finish. That is why the Israeli Knesset declared war, to let it know to the world that the state of affairs that can only exist in wartime now exists as far as the nation of Israel is concerned. Because all war is evil, but sometimes, hey, one more goddamn sentence, let me finish. One more motherfucking sentence. Will you let me finish? Shut up! Okay, war is always evil, but sometimes it is far more evil not to wage the war than to wage it. And I think this is one of those times.
So, Frodo, to answer your question, Sarge don't give a shit about the Palestinians, so there you go.
Oh, fuck you, dummy. Hey, you listen to this dummy. If you believe that, then you're as stupid as he is.
If they had a base or something.
After what I just said, if you believe what this fool just said, then you're as dumb as he is.
This is where the contradiction is with this country and a lot of the situations that's happening, right? So look, right, America gets involved, obviously, with Europe and Ukraine. Russia is trying to take over, and they're pushing their way through to try to extend the Russian border, right? So we're talking about, obviously, they got to start from a point. And when they cross that border of what's already understood nationally, internationally, all right, this is the line. I'm pushing my way through. So we're pushing away to Ukraine, right? And then they blowing shit up. They're trying to they're killing innocent people, right? And then so America gets involved and it says, okay, we're going to help Ukraine so they could push back the people. But America is not going and giving them fighter jets and all this shit so they could go into Russia and blow up Russia, right? And blow up the whole fucking country so they could stop Putin, right? So you got to think of the logic that we're witnessing, and does that make sense? Again, ask yourself that question. We're doing two different things there that doesn't make sense. In one instance, we got one country. You said, oh, they're pushing the border. They're coming through. They're trying to push their way in and take over your shit and kill people. All right, so we're gonna help them. Now the Palestinians, there was a group of people that are considered some terrorists, right? And they're Hamas. We don't even know if they're all Palestinian Hamas, if their bloodline is exactly that. Now, yeah, we're going to know that there's a few of those that's going to be in there from their nationality. But does that mean that, so those guys that killed, which was, we know is 100%, they're murderers for the ones that came in and killed those innocent Israeli people. I don't know how many people because they have so many numbers. Whatever numbers of Israelis that they killed for no reason, in the sense of whatever their anger was because of the Israeli government, we know that that was wrong, and those people had nothing to do with that, even if their families are involved. That's not what I'm saying. Innocent people are caught up. But then Israel, the Israel government, that's supposed to be what do we call that? You know, they're supposed to be good and civilized, right? This is a government. They said, oh, no, we're going to go after them. So then those 10,000, whatever amount terrorists is out there, right? They're going to go and blow up the whole fucking city? Does that make sense? I'm going to ask yourself the question. There's a one motherfucker in a tall building throwing missiles, and then there's a whole bunch. The rest of the buildings are occupied, or the rest of that building is occupied by innocent people, family. You say, oh, well, you know what? We're going to blow up that building to get that one guy versus try to find an alternate route or how to do it. So you know what? And then you're gonna say it's casualty. Oh, they're casualty. So we just mark it as war. You know, what if it's you? That's the problem. When your ass ain't getting blown up, it's easy for you to say, oh, well, whatever, right? But if it's your ass or your apartment or your house getting blown up, right, and now you don't got nowhere to go or your family gets killed, oh, you're going to be happy and okay? Man, think about that shit. This is a broad question to everybody, but Sarge, you should know better. You know what the fuck is going on.
Between 1948 and 1967, Syria controlled the Golan Heights of the West Bank because it was part of Syria. They used it as a stronghold from which its troops sniped at and launched attacks into Israel. I mean, and Israel repeatedly, about 15 times during that time period, protested the Syrian bombardments that they were bombarded with artillery and everything else to UN Mixed Armistice Commission. That commission had the responsibility to enforce the ceasefire that was in effect in 1948. Now, when Israel went to the UN in October 1966 to demand a halt to al-Fatah was one of Yasser Arafat's organizations that he set up to attack Israel. It was a forerunner of Hezbollah. And the response from the Syrian ambassador to the UN was this, and I'm quoting, quote, it is not our duty to stop them, talk about al-Fatah, because remember, they were allowing them to launch these attacks from their territory, from their sovereign territory. It is not our duty to stop them, but to encourage and strengthen them. And then when Israel retaliated after a mild Security Council resolution expressing regret with no teeth, and it was vetoed by the Soviet Union, even that was vetoed by the Soviet Union, because they were members at the time, they were a member of the Parliament of Security Council. And as far as Security Council is concerned, it was open season for killing Israelis in their own territory. And that's what they decided to do when the Sixth War went down. When the Six-Day War went down, they said, we taking this motherfucker, we going to occupy it and prevent them from launching attacks on us again. The history is clear. There's no doubt as to what happened there. Look, Israel is not... Hey, one more thing. Israel has not got clear hands. Hey, I'm not as long as you. I timed you, nigga. All right,
All
one
right.
more time. Israel does not have clean hands,
All right.
but no sovereign country on this planet has got clean hands when it comes to dealing with strife. But I'm telling you one thing, they got a right as a sovereign nation to do what they're doing right now, and I hope they prevail on this.
All right. So hold
Yeah,
on for a minute.
yeah,
Hold
like
on.
we
Hold
kill
on.
all them innocent Germans.
Hold on for 1 minute.
630,000 innocent German civilians. 630,000, Jay.
It was worth it.
Wait a
That's what the
minute.
United States did.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Hitler
minute. The
right in
fact.
the United States of America, is it worth it when you got a United States of America fucking Hitler that just popped up after all killing all those innocent people? Huh?
All right. So
no.
okay. So
No.
God damn it. Hold on. God damn. Can I host a damn show? The fact that Sarge just called Israel a sovereign nation is a violation of one of those resolutions that I was telling you guys about. And
wasn't even in effect when they did
let
it.
me host my motherfucking show. And guys, if y'all want to call
That
in, the
meant to
number to
shut up.
shut the fuck up. If y'all want to call in, the number to call is 717-908-1834. And brother Joshua, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man?
Tyrone, I wanted to say something.
Okay, so let's get Elisa, and then Joshua, you go right after Elisa.
Yeah, one of the reasons that the Israelis don't have a problem with slaughtering and killing those people at will, because a lot of it, they're racist. They're racist. And a lot of I'm going to tell you something. I'm about to get into something. It's because they're racist.
Okay.
And all of this, well, we're trying not. Who is that? Don't do that.
That's Sarge huffing and puffing. Sarge, mute your mic while you're waiting, brother. So let Elisa finish, and then Joshua.
And a lot of it, they're racist. So all of this about, well, oops, we shot, we killed this, oops, it was a mistake, we were trying, oops. No, they're trying to do that. They had a rally for the soldiers before they were sending them off to war. And it's a very well-known Israeli singer and his group, Leor Narkis. And when they serenaded the soldiers and everybody before they went off to war, and in his song, one of his chants were, "This is why they look at those people as less than human." And if anybody has any doubt that racism is playing a role in this, Israeli singer Leor Narkis serenades the IDF soldiers before they head off to war. Gaza, Mother Gaza, you black woman, you trash. Mother Gaza, you black woman, you trash. And we will obliterate you. So don't ever think that racism does not play a role in this.
Wow, that's amazing there. Joshua?
That's all I got.
What's up, Joshua?
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, man. Anytime a person says Yasser Arafat, in fact, he made started groups to hurt Israel, that's a bona fide lie. There's Palestinians that I could probably bring on just if they heard him say that, they probably said, "What the hell? What did you say?" Yasser Arafat was probably one of the most peaceful guys. He was just irritated with the hypocrisy of the Israeli government. He's very irritated. Like I said before to Tyrone and the people on there, like I said before, every time the Palestinians took a step, Israel took a step, and they contradict themselves. And they took back what they said they were going to do. They took it right back. So y'all was like, really, y'all? I mean, can we find a peaceful solution to this? Yeah, we can find a peaceful solution to this, but it was all about what Israel wanted, not necessarily whether or not how they felt about the Palestinians. So this is what this is all about. I saw that dumb shit where all those folks were out there. I guess that was the White House. They was all out there marching for Israel. I said, you know, you in school and teachers look at you and go, like you just a naughty kid. You know, I've seen that, and I was just like, really? I mean, you're applauding murder of people, really. And so this is what we are with this man. Unfortunately, with Sarge, I'm not trying to project something on you, Sarge, but you're pro Israel, Sarge. That's you're pro Israel, bro. I mean, it's in your conversation. It's in your how you cut your conversation. You're pro Israel for some reason or another. You're pro Israel. I'm not pro Israel. I'm not pro someone who financed the slave ships. I'm not pro none of that. So they financed the slave ships. See, so I can't be pro-Israel. Any black person who's pro-Israel don't know nothing. They don't even know their own history. But yeah, it's really a mess. And America is complicit in it because right now in the Sudan in Africa, they are over there going and at blow to blow, and not 1 inch of the media is talking about what's going on in Sudan. That's why I say I call it what? On the side of whiteness. See, because as long as white people in America feel that those European Jews, they look white, they do not but white folks in different, and they're going to stay together because that furthers their superiority in thinking that they are out the white race came a chosen people. See, that's in their brain. You see, has nothing. And again, I think it was Elisa. She mentioned racism. Some of the racist motherfuckers. Go to Israel, see how racist they are against black people. Very racist. Matter of fact, the Hebrews from America who went back in 1969. Don't you know they don't send them brothers and sisters back after all those years they've been there, and that's all they know. That's all they know is Israel and what they do in the part of Israel that they're in. All those black people from Chicago, I think some of them were from Detroit, that went over to Israel and back in '69 and been there. Don't you know the Israeli government is sending them back? Said that they're no longer welcome in Israel again. After they went there and became, quote, I guess, citizens of Israel, etc., they claim the land as theirs, etc., they send them back. And they send them back because they're black. And they from America, too. They really don't want to send them back. So Netanyahu done broke a lot of promises. And I guarantee you, he got that from the West. The West told him to send those black folks back. That was the West that did that. I guarantee that's what they told him to do, that behind closed doors. That's why they keep funding them with money. Why are we still funding Israel? Why are we still funding them? And no one says nothing. No one says, why should my dollars be going towards murder and military to make them stronger? You know? That's all I gotta say, Tyrone.
Yeah, and let me just say this real quick.
Tyrone, I sent you the video of them performing the group performing, serenading the IDF soldiers before they go off to war. I just sent you the video.
Okay. And somebody in the chat room, I think it was Jermaine, just brought up when Sarge is claiming that the Palestinians elected a terrorist government, then you can say the same thing for Israel, because Benjamin Netanyahu stole the election, and I think this is what is like third term or whatever the fuck. That's not a democracy.
Yeah.
That's a dictatorship.
Now you know how I feel about Joe Biden, don't you? You just nailed it. Now let me tell you something about Israel. Nobody in Israel participated in financing slave ships. In fact, the only ships they financed were Israeli Air Force C-130 and LR Boeing 747 that transported almost 15,000 Ethiopian Jews to Israel in 36 hours. Almost 15,000. You know why they took them there? Because they were being oppressed, subdued, and murdered by the Ethiopian government of Mengistu Haile Mariam. That's who. Muslims were killing Ethiopian Jews, and the Jews went in there and rescued them. Not with slave ships, but with Israeli Air Force C-130s and LR 747. Yeah, they got some ethnic strife in Israel. Sure. What nation doesn't these days? But I'll tell you another thing. 20% of the Israeli population is Arab. 20%. Most of those Arabs are Palestinian descent. Most of them. They are full-fledged Israeli citizens. There's not one single Jew anywhere in that region that is a citizen of any of those Muslim states, because they won't let them be.
All right, so listen, guys. Hold on, one more time. Hold on. Listen, Sarge, you cannot just write off the fact that Jewish people didn't have any part in financing the slave trade, and when you dismiss it all together like that, it's not like the Jewish financed the slave ships 100%. But we know that Jewish money was involved in the slave trade, so you just can't say that they didn't finance the slave ships. Sarge, that's just a blatant lie. So stop that.
I said Israel didn't. I don't believe in blood attainder. You do. We don't believe in that in the United States. It's in our Constitution not to do it. You hate the Constitution. That's why you believe in blood attainder. Israel.
Okay, so we're talking about Israel, the state that the Jewish people stole. So we're talking about the Jewish people who live in fucking Israel. So let's not try to mix word and play this fucking goddamn word tit-tat game, Sarge. Come on now.
Israel did not finance any slave ships. I don't give a good goddamn what you say. They did not.
Fucking Jews, motherfucker.
You hold them. That's guilt of the sins of the father you visit upon the children. You go to hell with that shit.
Did the Jewish people finance the slave trade? Any?
The Israel did not. Some Jews did.
That's not my question.
I answered the question. I said some Jews did. Israel did not.
That is not my question. My question to you were.
I answered your question the best way I know how. I ain't answering no different.
Did Jewish people have any financing in the slave trade, sorry? That's all I asked you.
One more time. They weren't Israelis.
Okay. Go ahead, Joshua. I'm sorry.
You know what? See, this is the problem. See, this is why, man, I don't cut so many dudes off from talking to them because they talk like this. I mean, is it some dudes? I'm not gonna say no names. I done cut dudes off, man, because I said I just got tired of talking. When you make a claim, when you know they got documentation, okay, of Jews financing the slave ship, and they know they got documentation to back that up. I got 3 volumes of the secret relationship between blacks and Jews. I got 3 volumes. I got all 3 volumes. Now I haven't read all the 3 volumes, but I've skimmed through them, looking for certain things. And it's a fact. The Jews didn't do nothing but get mad at of course, at Farrakhan. Matter of fact, right now, he threw a lawsuit against them because he wants them to define what is an anti-Semite. He wants them to define that now. So he threw a lawsuit, a $5 billion lawsuit against them. He said, I want you bastards to define what is an anti-Semite. Because they threw that word around a lot when someone said something about them, said something about the Jews. Or they say, matter of fact, it doesn't even have to be something bad. It could be, well, the Jews own a production studio. Anti-Semitism. No, it's not. You own the company, you own it, you jackass. That's not anti-Semitism. So I'm saying that if anybody want to get those books and go through this stuff, you can. Yes, there's going to be opposition to the scholar work. People are going to deny it. They're going to try to write papers to debunk that. But it's too much evidence that they know of, that they know that the Jews have financed the slave trade. They know it. And not just Jews, there was Arabs in the slave trade too. The little bastards over there enslaving black folks still today. They still enslaving black people today. The Arabs. You see,
Yeah, I mean, and that's part of the reason why I don't jump up and down and scream for the Palestinians, even though they're getting done wrong, is because the Muslim people, they don't do black people right either. So it's just bad from a humanity standpoint. It's just terrible the way Israel is getting away with genocide and those people.
Hey Tyrone, I sent something in the chat room. I don't know if y'all saw it. There was a Muslim woman. I think she could have been Palestinian, or she could have been straight Arab. And ethnically, let me get something straight. With there's different types of Arabs. Let's get that clear. They're all not the same. They're not. So we gotta. And that's racist to even categorize them all as Arabs, because they don't like when you do that. A Palestinian will say, "I'm not from Saudi Arabia. I'm from Palestine." Their politics are different. Their thinking is different. But in the video, the woman was stating that she was telling Arabs, she said, "Why do we hate black people so much when they've been our biggest supporters?" She said, "Why do we enslave black people in Africa still today?" She said, "Why do we do these things to black people?" I put in the chat room a couple of days ago. Some of y'all might have seen it or ran across it and didn't know what it was. But check out what she was saying. And she hit it round the nail.
Sarge, you know. Go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. Finish what you said, your last line. We want to hear that.
No. So
what she said.
So, no. She was just point blank. She just laid these things out in the video. And she was asking Arabs as a whole. She said, whether you be from Palestine, whether you be from Saudi Arabia, Yemen, etc. She said, why do we continue to oppress and put affliction on black people? Of course, she said, some of us come to America and we hate black people. Why do you hate black people? You don't even know them. Because it's been told to dislike blackness, and then again, we got to go, if we go back biblically to the so-called curse of Ham, this was some of that emanates from. So they think it's okay to do these things up because of a stupid ass curse that never happened. Nobody was cursed. If you read the story right, nobody was cursed. But the point is that again, that we got to understand that they have a hate for blackness. You know, there are black Palestinians who go through racism all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about it. So that's what I gotta say, man. I'm letting somebody else talk.
Well, I wanted to ask Sarge that there was, this whole thing with the Hamas and all that. Well, Sarge, I found out that the main guys that are pressing the buttons, right, for those guys that are doing whatever or started to do what they did in Israel are sitting back in a nice hotel or condo in Qatar. Now,
I heard that too.
Not the United States. What? No, and this is not about what I heard. How about this? They show footage of them, pictures and video of them celebrating fat Arab dudes, wherever part of Arabia they're from, or the Middle East. But guess what? These guys are sitting back with suits on, without a tie, chilling out in a luxurious hotel where you can see is a nice 5-star or 6-star, and they're celebrating. Why is it not the U.S. getting on top of Qatar's ass and going in there and arresting those guys? Or why is not Israel going in there and doing what they're supposed to do? Why they don't attack
That's
Qatar?
A good point, Jay. That's a good point. So what Jay is saying is the leadership, they know where the leadership is. They know what the leadership of Hamas is. They got video of them, and Jay said that he's seen the video. But none of these countries, Israel or America or anybody, ain't going in there getting those Hamas leaders. That's a good point.
Listen, and to add on that Qatar, hold on real quick, Qatar is doing the negotiations. So if you hear, they're the ones in the middle saying, no, they're the ones that got them to do not the ceasefire, but to let out the hostages. So how the hell Qatar, what kind of clout does Qatar have? And then you see the pictures and video that they release themselves. the so-called leadership saying, yeah, we're celebrating this. Those fat asses are sitting in a nice, luxurious hotel over there while these motherfuckers, their little minions or whatever, people that don't know no better, are going out there putting themselves in harm's way, blowing shit up, and also putting all that population in harm's way. They got nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Okay, one more. Okay, I'm going to answer your question specifically. Israel has some of the best covert operations units in the world. Look what they did after Munich. They killed and captured every single person that was principally involved with that Munich massacre. That's what they do. They'll probably get around to it if they show they have a direct hand in these attacks. I'm sure that they will. Now is not the time. They're going to strike when the iron is hot. Believe that. I count on it. They're going to do it. But after all, they're in a sovereign country. They don't want to extend this war anymore than they have to right now. But they got a long memory. They ain't going to forget. Look how long it took them to get Adolf Eichmann. It took them 32 years to get Adolf Eichmann. They'll get these people too if and when they get around to getting them. So look, the point of the matter is this. Look, Israel has got a lot of things. They ain't got no clean hands in this. Anybody tries to tell you that I think Israel is a shining armor, a white knight in shining armor, is crazy. I ain't saying that at all. But every sovereign country has an obligation to its citizenry when they are attacked in a manner like this. And what they're doing is completely acceptable, both under international law and I'm looking at the way they are waging this war. And yeah, they're killing civilians. It's inevitable. That's why they declared war. But I'm telling you, what more? You let me finish. They are doing it about as judiciously as anyone that I've seen, given the fact that Hamas's strategy is to co-locate themselves with the civilian population. They're about as judicious as you could possibly expect anyone to be.
Sarge, you're acting like there's no. Hold on. First of all, we know that this is not an army. We're not fighting against. You're not fighting against the army. You're fighting against labeled terrorists, right? So what do terrorists do? They've been doing that. We didn't learn from Afghanistan and Iraq. They've been had to go in civilian territory. This is not nothing new. To make it an excuse and say, oh well, they can blow up people. If it was you in that neighborhood, is it okay that your life should be taken for some other motherfucker that got nothing to do with you? Are you agreeing with that? Say, oh yeah, well they gotta clean up the fucking. They gotta kill all these terrorists. Fuck it, let them kill me and my whole family. Are you okay with that?
I am never going to be okay with anybody killing me and my family for any reason. That beggars the point, Jay. What you are doing is begging the point. It is possible for someone. You let me finish. Damn, you talk about you interrupt more than Tyrone says I interrupt you. Interrupt him. You interrupt me. Let me finish. Damn. Let me finish. It is possible to wage war and not be a member of an army as long as you, number one, follow the rules of international warfare. 2, you answer to a recognizable chain of command. And 3, you wear some distinguishing insignia that distinguishes you from the rest of the population, and you carry your arms openly. If you do that in that manner, you can be considered a lawful combatant even though you're not a member of an army. You're a partisan. That's what many of the people who were arrested in Iraq. They were open, lawful combatants. They wore armbands or they wore headbands. They went to the chain of command. They carried their arms openly, and they followed, generally speaking, the laws of international warfare. That's not what Hamas is doing. So you don't seem to get it. I understand all of these things. You don't.
I'm not gonna let you. Hold on. You were in Iraq the first round, but you was not in Iraq after 9/11. And what we understand, I didn't have to be there. You didn't have to be there. You know that there was motherfuckers in civilian clothes shooting at the motherfucking U.S. military. Don't tell me that they all had on or put on their little bandana, gang bandana, or their fucking army shit with the fucking sign of the Al-Qaeda. Not all of them was wearing that shit, Sarge. Don't tell me that bullshit.
All right, look, I am telling you what is required to be considered a lawful combatant, even if you're not a member of a national army.
Look at this. Let me say this too.
I told you what it is, and then you go to some.
Sarge, you went down. Hold on, Sarge, you went low. Sarge,
what I just said.
Sarge, you sound low. We sound low, Sarge.
Let me say this right quick. Hey, let me put this in the conversation too. We gotta understand too that a lot of these so-called groups that they call terrorist groups that but they don't even like each other. But don't you know that?
Right, they just fighting to fight the cause.
Right, but don't you know that ISIS or ISIL don't like Hamas and Hamas don't like them? Don't you know that they had a fight one time? And guess what? Guess who won that fight? Hamas. So these terrorist groups don't even like each other. This is why I don't pull the notion that this is why I say that this is my own theory. I don't believe those guys that came in there and did that. I don't believe that these dudes are all Hamas. I don't believe that they were all Hamas. I don't. I think it's something that's going on in Israel, and I think, like y'all saying, that the Israeli government know what actually would happen, and they're just acting on it. But I just don't believe that Hamas will put their people in harm's way like this, knowing that they're not prepared to fight Israel straight up. They can't fight them straight up. It's something going on with this thing.
Well, I'd like to remind you, gentlemen, that in 1970, when King Hussein of Jordan welcomed the PLO into Jordan to give them refuge from the Israeli attacks against them, they decided to revolt and try to overthrow his government, and King Hussein had to kill 4,000 members of the PLO and kick them out of his country. Nobody likes these people in the Arab world. They won't let them in their country. Why is that?
Sarge,
Tyrone.
think about this.
Tyrone.
Go, I'm sorry.
Hold it. Let Elisa go, guys.
I was just going to add this, that something few people are talking about this. How did Hamas become? How did they become? How did they become?
Israel.
Israel funded them to put them up against the PLO. Now that's what they have. And now they're bombing the shit out of them.
Sounds familiar, Sarge.
No one talks about that. They funded that terrorist group. They helped to build them up when they wanted Arafat, the PLO, and them.
That's a good point.
And now
good point.
And now you got what you got. And if we're supposed to feel so sorry for them, y'all create. They help create. They didn't create it. They helped create. They helped fund it.
Wait a minute. Hold on, sorry. Let me just get this straight. So Hamas was created by Israel or funded by Israel to go against the Palestinian Liberation Army or whatever, right? So they could help Israel. And now Israel is going against Hamas. Is that right?
There's some truth to that. It's a little bit exaggerated, but there's some truth. But let me tell you something. Barack Obama and John Kerry.
We ain't talking about Obama. Nobody want to hear nothing about Obama.
Well, I'm going to talk about him.
About no damn Obama. Go get that birth certificate, nigga.
Well, I just did. And I'm going to keep doing it, too. Obama created ISIS. Now, there's some... Wait a minute. I'm not denying what she just said. Okay. Some of it, I think she exaggerated a bit. Yeah, Israel did look upon them indifferently. They did think between the two of them that Hamas would overcome the PLO and they would be more amenable to Jewish interest or Israeli interests than did them. But however, like many other things done, they were wrong. They miscalculated. These kind of screw-ups happen all the time when it comes to intelligence and other things. But to say that they wanted Hamas to come into existence, so 26 years later, 36 years later, they could kill 1,400 Israelis at a peace festival. No, that's not what they intended. Okay. It was a Frankenstein monster that got out of control.
She just gave you the
right,
historical
you're right.
existence of Hamas. Ain't nobody said nothing
Well,
about they want to shut the fuck up.
I didn't totally disagree with it.
Why you
I
can't
didn't totally disagree with
shut
it.
up, shut up. But you inserted some bullshit about some damn.
You're damn
concept.
right I did.
Shut the
To
fuck
put a finer point on it.
Oh
yeah,
God,
put a finer point on it. Yes,
nobody
I
said
did.
what you said. Do you understand that?
That's why I said what I said, because no one did.
Oh Jesus.
And I think it's pertinent, and you don't, because you like narratives more than you like history and the truth.
But no, that's not narrative. But this is something that was said. The government, you said it, and we know that this is known to be true, right? Or supposedly.
I'm not denying it. I don't deny truth.
No, hold on. It's not about what you denying or not denying. I'm asking. I'm saying you said this. I'm not saying what you just said now. I'm saying you said earlier, and we know this. It's not nothing that you're wrong. That the Israeli government is usually the top or the number one with intelligence. So number one, they screwed up this situation because whether they did it purposely or not purposely, somebody didn't get the intelligence, and if they did get the intelligence, they ignored it, right? So that's number one. So that goes to show you that their intelligence game ain't as up to par as we think. So all that shit that you said about that they've been gathering up information, they missed the fucking ball with this one. Number two, I'm just saying that since they messed up and people got massacred again, we don't know Hamas. Oh, if you say that it was this one, that one, why they don't go after? I don't care what you label yourself. If you did the crime physically, right, and you had, and so why don't they get to them? It doesn't make sense to me that if you got 10 to 20,000 motherfuckers causing problems, that I should displace 2 million people and blow up 1,000 buildings. It doesn't make sense. We got to corner this shit. You got to either, look, you said they got highly intelligent, but they don't got that much intelligence if they can't covertly get their ass in there and assassinate or do what the fuck they need to do so not one innocent person gets killed. Fuck anything. It's about one person that dies that has nothing to do with the shit that you supposed to be doing. That's not my problem. Like I said, you agreed that you wouldn't agree if they fucking blew up a building you was in. It had nothing to do with you, but they shooting rockets from your building. Come on, Sarge.
It's like I told you, Jay, the world doesn't revolve around me, whether I think it's wrong for them to kill me or not. There are things that are bigger than you or me, and this happens to be one of them. And all those people that are not direct, wait, let me finish. I'm almost finished. And even though there are a lot of people who have nothing to do with this going to get caught up in it, again, war is evil. Sometimes it's more evil not to wage war, despite the fact that war is always evil.
So what the Israeli government is doing currently, blowing up hospitals, whether there's people using it as a cover, they know, right? They got intelligence that they know, oh, well, such and such is in this building, but there's like maybe 500 innocent people here. All right. So it's okay for them to blow up that building, or it's not okay?
I just saw a reporter yesterday standing outside that hospital, which is largely intact except for the parking lot that a stray Hamas missile hit and killed maybe 20-something people, not 500. They lied about the whole thing for propaganda purposes, and the whole world bought it, and a lot of people are still repeating that crazy bullshit like it was true.
Hold on. So
it didn't happen, Jay. It did not happen.
Hold on. Let me update you. We're not talking about that hospital. We're talking about the current hospital that they admitted to blowing up right after they fucking hit the refugee camp, and they admitted that. So let's not talk about we're not talking about that. Okay, so you could dispute that. This one, they admitted to it.
All right, again, it is a war crime to locate the military targets in a civilian hospital or church. That is a war crime. That means that you are allowed to blow up the hospital if it gets your enemy, and they're using it for active military operations that have potential or the actuality of harming your mission or killing your troops. I'm sorry, it's evil, but again, not waging war against the evil is more evil.
Well, no. Hold on. Well, I'm gonna leave it like this in regards to that. I say that those that are responding and so they use that title or they go under that in a sense of justification. Say, well, yeah, on the war we can do it. Then they're just as fucked up and evil as those terrorists. They get no pass either. So whatever the fuck happens to them en route, it doesn't matter because if they don't care. Just like these so-called terrorists don't, they're labeled in the same fucking bubble. They don't give a fuck about civilians. They know that's innocent people. Oh, well, we're going to still have to do it because we got to blow up this one guy. Guess what, Sarge? They're just as evil as those motherfuckers that did what they did to those innocent Israelis. I'll leave it there.
You're free to have that opinion about them. I'm not going to say that I can't understand why you say it. That doesn't mean they ought to stop. They need to defeat their enemy, and they're going to do it by whatever means is allowable within the rules and laws of warfare. And if they violate those laws, then bring them on the carpet. Bring them on the carpet if they do.
All right. So lastly, and I'll leave it real quick. So then you agree for Ukraine to start sending missiles and going in and sending troops into Russia to go get Putin because of...
If they can do it, more power to them. It's a war. How many times did I tell you? It's a war.
I'm asking you if you agree with that. Is that okay? Is it okay?
Wait a minute. You didn't ask me which side do I hope wins. That's a different matter. That doesn't mean, though, when you're conducting a war, you're not allowed to do certain things. Hell, the Germans were allowed to do certain things in their conduct of the war.
Sarge, I'm not saying winning. I'm saying that letting them go in because they're being attacked, right? So they should.
And I disagreed with them to do that. If they can do it, more power to them.
Sarge, Israel is being so-called got attacked, right? Which they did, and then now they're blowing up the whole fucking that piece of the land, which is the Gaza Strip. Okay. So I'm asking you again. It's okay for Ukraine to go in to sovereign parts of Russia that got nothing to do with it and start blowing shit up because they think a government official's there and innocent people get killed.
If they have legitimate military targets in Russia, they are entitled to retaliate against them. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys, listen, let me guys, if y'all want to call in, just call the number at 717-908-1834 and unknown caller who's on the line.
Big J here.
This Big J. What's up, Big J?
Yeah, what's going on? Let me say this. I do agree with Sarge. Like it's war, so I mean you're going to have some collateral damage. However, this whole idea though, to be fair about it, you have to understand though, Sarge, that what they're doing is the same way like what the white man, what the European did to the native tribes. I mean. You move into an area, you push the local population out, and then now we're going to sit there and get mad because the local population start to retaliate in such a brutal manner. I mean, we kind of made them into this certain situation. And another thing, wait, hold on. And another thing, you ain't talking about how Benjamin Netanyahu created Hamas. He helped create them.
Well, I just did. We just spoke about it.
So therefore, though, Benjamin Netanyahu need to be tried for treason and resign because he created the Frankenstein monster, and he only did that so he can so he make a political thumb in the nose at the Palestinian Authority.
Yes, go ahead. Well, look, I pretty much agreed with that. Well, I was just talking about that with Jay and Sis. She brought it up. I said she essentially had the story right, except she didn't put it in context because the Israelis viewed it. They initially started as a religious organization. The Israelis thought they would be less militant than the PLO, and they would provide a counterbalance to the PLO, which the Israelis could exploit. It wasn't to create a terrorist organization that would one day threaten the nation of Israel. They miscalculated, like oftentimes many overconfident intelligence officials do. They miscalculated. I'm not trying to deny history. That's pretty much factual. That does not change the fact that once circumstances on the ground change, then you have to readjust your outlook and your strategies, and that's what they're doing right now. And by the way, that argument you just made about colonizers, and that's what people are calling the United States as well as Israel. The United States are colonizers. They stole the land from the original Aboriginal indigenous peoples that were there. Again, this situation in Palestine is a total distortion of that particular history, because Israel was not created, let me use the word, listen carefully to the word I'm using. It was not created by conquest other than the conquest of the British Army in Palestine in 1917 that kicked the Ottoman Empire out of the area. You guys keep ignoring that as though it doesn't matter. That is how it came to be. And one more thing I want to add this, and then I'll let you respond. Israel itself, other than that conquest by the British, was created by an international, overwhelmingly mandated vote of the United Nations in 1948 that created a two-state solution, which the Arabs rejected soundly. It was created by a vote of the United Nations when the British turned their mandate over to the United Nations for resolution. So unusually, among nations, Israel was not created through conquest.
Yeah, but hold on.
Wait, hold on. Here's a problem with your analysis, though, Sarge. They did conquest. If you look at why y'all got so mad when Obama said y'all need to go back to the 1967 borders, y'all was mad about that. Well, in pre-1967, well, guess what? Israel expanded its borders. Then, if you look at the map of the West Bank, they still have problems. People putting settlers in. Netanyahu and his government creating settlers, creating settlements where it was against international law and international agreements. You don't see a problem with that. That's also, you're also invading people by putting settlements in, which you told you was not going to do, and he did it anyway.
Well, obviously, Jay, it is problematic for the Israelis because they're fighting over it. But let's face it, the reason they acquired Gaza and the West Bank was because there was a war. Now, in that respect, they expanded their borders as nations throughout the history of mankind have expanded nations. Conquest and victory in war. They defeated 4 Arab armies that were determined to shove them into the sea. 4 Arab armies. And as a result, they said, well, look, we got this territory now. It can act as a buffer between Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt. And for me, that is a strategic consideration that any nation that is continually imperiled by its neighbors existentially, any prudent sovereign nation would do exactly the same thing if they had the opportunity. And they got that opportunity by their utter, complete, total victory in the Six-Day War.
I'm not going to say anything else because the thing is, so the point is, you got a system.
England always sticking his damn finger everywhere. His nose.
You got a group of people who cannot return to their houses, cannot return to their property, cannot return to the place of their birth because another group of people occupy it and they push those people out. So I don't know what to say anymore.
Well, I know how to respond to it, and I'll tell you what happened during the partition plan. You got the publicly announced on the radio, on TV, and in the United Nations of the Israeli leaders at the time. This is Ben-Gurion, Prime Minister Ben-Gurion, appealing, beseeching his Palestinian neighbors who were living in the region that was going to become Israel to remain in Israel and not leave and help them together to build their new nation. What you had on the other hand, though, was the Arab leaders telling them, we expect you to leave. You leave the country so you will not be in the way of our advancing armies as we exterminate this vermin state. And when we drive them into the sea, you can come back and take all their shit. That's what they said. I can give you the quotes. They told, and most of the Palestinians living there decided to comply with it because they did not want to be considered outcasts or worse when the Arabs won and defeated the Israelis.
Well, they were there first, Sarge, period. That they were just there first.
No, they weren't. That's not true either.
Okay,
that's not true either.
Okay, listen. The fucking Palestinians was there before the goddamn Jewish people. You keep referring to the Ottoman Empire, which is Turkish. They're not Jewish. If there was a couple of fucking Jews sprinkled here and there, Palestinians, majority occupied that fucking land as indigenous before the motherfucking Jews showed up and created a fucking state out of mid fucking air. They was there first, Sarge. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh,
okay, this is what gets me about you. You think you can say these things to me? I don't have an answer in it, and I do. The Ottoman Empire was founded in the 13th century.
Nobody gives a shit about that. They was there before the fucking Jews.
I know you don't give a shit. That's why you're so goddamn ignorant. That's what I'm trying to tell you, stupid. Listen to me. They went in there, and when they did, they wanted to expand their empire. They invited into the region anyone who would come into their empire and pay the jizya, the tax, upon infidels and non-believers. And according to an Ottoman census in the 14th century, not 15th century, that's over 500 years ago. In the 15th century, they said 20% of that region was Jewish.
Sarge.
Okay, well, that's a lie because we know the 1967 map does not agree with what the fuck you're saying. We know how much was shut the hell up. The 1946 map does not agree with what you're saying. Guys, look at the screen and you can see how much of that damn area was occupied by fucking Palestine or Palestinians in 1946. And then when you see Israel come in 1947, they relocated all them goddamn Palestinians with the fucking Western might and bullets and fucking guns and put them in the fucking West Bank and started putting them into Gaza. And then when you go up to 1945 to 1967, it's even smaller. And then in 2012, you got the West Bank and Gaza somewhat as it exists today. So shut the fuck up with your Ottoman Empire and fucking Jews was invited into the goddamn area. The Palestinian was there before the goddamn Jews showed up, Sarge. So I don't know why you keep making that argument.
Because you're wrong, Tyrone. The Jewish presence in the Levant was established 3,700 years ago. You're full of shit and you don't know what you're talking about. Now let me tell you, hey, why is it whenever I spring up archaeological historical facts, you guys start shouting me down? Every time you do. You just don't want to hear it.
It's mystical.
It's amazing to me.
Okay, so I'll do it like this right here. Hold on. Watch this right here. When you was in high school, Sarge, and you looked at fucking geography, what was that area called in your fucking social book, your social studies? What was that area called, Sarge?
Yes, good.
It was called the Levant.
No, fucking wasn't. Sarge, you're lying. Listen, guys, that motherfucking lying. There was nothing in no goddamn books in fucking America called the goddamn Levant. It was called Palestine. That's what the fuck it was called, and Sarge is fucking lying to you guys right now. So, Sarge, you just lost, motherfucker, because it was labeled Palestine in your goddamn history books. It just was. So shut the fuck up.
Hey, dummy, tell me something. What nation in the history of mankind has ever had diplomatic relations with a country called Palestine?
What was it called in your fucking book, Sarge?
Name one.
What was it called in your book?
I just told you what it was called. Since you're going to tell me what I looked at and I saw, you're going to tell me what I saw.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that it wasn't called the goddamn Levant, motherfucker. I know it wasn't.
Right, exactly. It wasn't called Levant. But Levant is a French word. Let me say this real quick. It says the area of variety defined as historical biblical it goes literature, but it goes like this. But always centered on Palestine. Its original pre-Israelite inhabitants were called Canaanites. The name Canaan or Canaanite occurs in the coin form. It talks about that. But it goes on to say that those original people there were called what we call from Canaan, they were called Canaanites. I said that before about a couple of weeks ago when we talked about this. So I'm saying that Sarge, I don't understand why he keeps saying Levant. The Levant was made up. That's a French word from a French man.
Like a
Now, hold on, Joshua, because I got the map of the Levant up right now. This is an ancient fucking map. Shut the fuck up, Sarge. I'm gonna mute you for a second. In order for Sarge to make his goddamn point, he got to go to an ancient motherfucking map that was what the fuck year was it? So he got to go to an ancient map, and you was not in high school during this fucking time period, you motherfucking moron. When you was in high school, they called that area fucking Palestine. Your book said the same shit mine said in it. It was not called the goddamn Levant. So in order for you to make your point and try to save face with people, you want to lie and say your history book or your geography book didn't say fucking Palestine. That was a fucking lie, Sarge. Stop lying. I got your ass again, nigga.
Palestine has never existed as a nation. It has always been a region of some other empire. Always. It was never a nation. Never.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What did in your geography book, was it called a Levant or not?
It was called, the earliest memory of geographic region, they declared it the Levant.
I'm asking you what was in your fucking book when you was in school. I'm asking you what the map was called. What was it labeled when you went to school? I'm not asking you before you went to school or before some ancient motherfucker went to school. I'm asking you, Sarge, when you went to school, what was it called in your fucking book, Sarge?
Okay, one more time, since you had claimed to have my eyes that I saw this with, you are claiming now to have my eyes.
Okay.
My eyes saw either the Middle East or the Levant.
No, fuck it didn't. Okay, shut the fuck up. He lying. Let me see what his caller is. Let me see what his unknown caller is. Who's this unknown caller?
I mean, you're not gonna like my response, but I agree with Sarge, man.
So it was not called a Levant in school. Who is this?
No, I'm talking about the Ottoman Empire. Bringing up the Ottoman Empire is important because prior to World War I, that whole region was a part of the Ottoman Empire.
I'm not saying that it wasn't. Hold on, Ant. That is not what I asked, Sarge. I'm not arguing about the Ottoman Empire and where it existed. I'm not arguing about that. I asked him when he was in school, what was that damn area called in his fucking book? That's what I'm asking, Sarge.
Okay.
And I don't want you to talk because Ant just called in, and after Ant, I heard Lisa trying to get in there. So go ahead, Ant.
Okay, well, let me get in whenever you decide you want me to respond, okay? If you want me to respond.
Go ahead, Ant.
No, that's all I had, man. After the war, then the League of Nations came in, and now it's what we call Israel now. But prior to, I was just touching on the Ottoman Empire part. You made it like it was irrelevant that he brought that up.
No, but it's still it's irrelevant because they were all foreigners. That's irrelevant. They was not indigenous to Israel. That's what makes it relevant.
Yeah, that's an ancient land. We're talking about ancient land, but we're going from 1946 when Palestinians mainly occupied the land, and the deals that the Jewish people made, and they've been going back on ever since, and occupying that land more and more. Miss Elisa, what did you have to say?
No, I was just gonna say, I agree with Sarge on one point, but I went to Catholic school, and all of our books and stuff, all over Catholic school, all the way through, all of our books called that region Palestine. But let me just say, Sarge is correct. Even if you go back to ancient, before the Ottoman War, before all of that, there were Hebrews in that land. There were Hebrews there. But the overwhelming majority of the people were Palestinians, whatever the Canaanites, whatever you want to call them. The overwhelming majority of the people were Palestinians. You had Hebrews and you had Christians, but the overwhelming majority were Palestinian. But let me just say this. Netanyahu, I would be curious to know what everybody thinks about this. Netanyahu found a way to blame the Palestinians for the Holocaust. Y'all heard what he said. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, that's
Google
ridiculous.
that.
That's ridiculous.
He blamed the Palestinians. He found a way, and even his own people were upset with him about that. He found a way to blame the Palestinians for the Holocaust. His words, not mine, that Adolf Hitler was not interested in doing a genocide and everything that he did with the Jewish people. He was interested in deporting them.
Well, Lisa, there is some history there where Palestinians kind of joined with the Nazis and all that kind of bullshit.
I'm about to get into that.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm about to get into it. And he said that they didn't come up with the final solution. They got the idea for the final solution from the imams, from them, to exterminate them, which is a lie. Because, yes, they did meet up with them. They did. One of the head imams met up with Adolf Hitler. But Netanyahu likes to leave out part that they were already killing and slaughtering them before they even met up with the imams. So how are you just going to ignore history? You're going to ignore Mein Kampf. You're going to ignore all of that stuff they was talking and saying that they didn't come up with that until the Palestinians. When they met up with the imam, he was the one that gave them the idea to do it. That's a damn lie. Adolf Hitler then wanted to exterminate all of them before he even knew about a goddamn imam. But that is Netanyahu's way of rewriting history. To suit himself. Rewriting history to suit himself.
Okay. The Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Amin el-Husseini, met with his, because remember, in 1936, he had to get the hell out of Dodge, meaning he had to get out of Palestine, because the British wanted him on warrants. They were going to arrest him for fomenting riots against Israel, Jews rather, causing massacres of Jews, and the British authorities wanted him for doing so. He fled the country, and he was courted by von Ribbentrop, who was the Nazi foreign minister, and he arranged an audience with Hitler. And Hitler met with the Grand Mufti al-Husseini, and they discussed what they wanted him to do. They wanted the Arabs to foment discontent in the areas of that region under British control to help the Nazi war effort. And in return, he promised them after the war he was going to deal with the Jews in much the same way as he had dealt with them in Europe. And as a result of it, al-Husseini went to Yugoslavia and Bosnia and Serbia and helped to raise two SS divisions to give their exposed there, and the Hanshaw division, who mainly committed war crimes against the civilian population.
Okay, so listen, so when you come with all that bullshit, that ain't what Elisa said. When Netanyahu shut the fuck up. So when you whatever, Sarge, but that ain't what she said. Netanyahu blaming the goddamn Palestinians for the goddamn Holocaust, and that's just wrong as fuck. That's all the hell I'm saying. Goddamn.
Okay, Netanyahu was full of shit on that. You're right.
What I said,
he was full of shit on that. Okay, all right. But you know what? He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong when he said that the Arabs of the time were fully prepared to cooperate with Hitler in exterminating the Jews eventually.
So give me some reason on why I don't want to date it too much, but I say the late 80s, early 90s, not mid 90s. I'm talking let's do 85, between 85 and 95, 1985 to 1995. When you look at that globe, when you walk in a classroom, most people that was in school at the time, I don't know, junior high school, elementary, high school, when you was in that classroom in that time, there was always a map on the classroom chalkboard on the side, or you could bring it down. They had always one of them projectors, and you could bring down the map. Sometimes it was up, sometimes it wasn't. But what they did have all the time was a globe. And in this globe, you would notice that that area was called Palestine. So my question to you, Sarge, is that when we was told, and I don't remember all the details because I'm trying to go back and I don't know every detail, but I do remember the teachers speaking about Palestine and Palestinians. Why they were addressing them at that time, we're talking about 85 to 95, around that time, why were they addressing them as Palestinians? And Palestine was on the map of the earth, on the globe, the physical globe that we all know about back in the day, the physical one, and then the map that we had on the wall by the chalkboard or whatever. Guys.
The same manner in which you address many people living in the middle southern region of the United States as Appalachians. The same reason, even though they are residents of various states within that region. The same way. I want you to present me with some evidence that Palestine ever was a nation that had diplomatic relations with any other nation on the planet. I want you to give me some evidence of that.
I can't do that. I can't, and I'm not going to argue that, but I'm going to tell you this. There are countries or there's lands of mass here that are not recognized by the United Nations or the United States of America. We know that, Sarge. They don't deal with them. They don't mess with them. They call them whatever they want to call them, but they don't identify them as a sovereign or a country because they're rogue. They're rogue.
Okay, good. And that's all I've ever said. Now, Tyrone, may I ask your indulgence for a moment, please? Because I want to deal directly with this idea that the Jews, or the Jews, Zionists, Jews, whatever you want to call them, drove out the Palestinians from the regions in which they settled in the first, second, and third Aliyah, which was the three waves of immigration from Central and Eastern Europe, from there to Palestine in the mid-19th to after the Second World War.
That's your conversation. That's not the conversation.
No, that's what your people keep bringing up.
That ain't
they keep bringing this shit up.
What you mean, my people, motherfucker? This is what you mean, my people. This is the democracy over here on TRS. It ain't no damn my people.
Nigga. Okay, nigga, well, you want to shut down information. Be my guest, you serious bastard. Be my motherfucking guest.
Democracy over here on TRS. Them ain't my people. They individuals, Sarge. All you gotta do is look at the motherfucker, shut the fuck up, and look at the screen, and look at 1946 Palestine.
Okay, Tyrone, let me put it another way, all right? Let me bring up an issue that is pertinent to most of this discussion tonight. Just give me a moment, and I will explain it. It is directly pertinent to what has been said here tonight.
Go ahead.
Well, all right, look. There was a gentleman. I got to ask this because I get interrupted a lot. Okay, there's a gentleman in 1921. He was an Arab. He was the mayor of Haifa. His name was Hassan Shukri. He was the president of the Muslim National Association. He sent a telegram to the British government in reaction to Palestinians, a delegation of Palestinians who went to London to try to stop the Balfour Declaration from being implemented. Now, this is what he wrote. Remember, this gentleman is an Arab. He's the mayor of Haifa. He's president of the Muslim National Association. We are certain that without Jewish immigration and financial assistance, there will be no future development of our country, as may be judged from the fact that the towns inhabited in part by Jews, such as Jerusalem, Jaffa, Haifa, and Tiberias, are making steady progress, while Nablus, Acre, and Nazareth, where no Jews reside, are steadily declining. Now, the Jewish population jumped by 470,000 people between World War I and World War II. The non-Jewish population rose by 588,000. They were roughly comparable. The permanent Arab population increased as a result of what the Zionists, not the Israelis, they didn't exist then, the Zionist Jews were doing in the region. They flocked to that area where they had not been living. The rapid growth of the Arab population, they said it was several things that caused it to grow the way it did. One, immigration from the neighboring states by Arabs who want to take advantage of the higher standard of living the Jews made possible. The Arab population grew because of the improved living conditions created by the Jews when they drained the malaria swamps They brought improved sanitation and health care to that region. The Muslim infant mortality rate fell from 201 per thousand in 1925 to 94 per thousand in 1945. The life expectancy of the Arab population went from 37 years in 1926 to 49 in 1943. And the Arab population increased the most in cities where large Jewish populations had created new economic opportunities. From 1922 to 1947, the non-Jewish population increased 290% in Haifa, 131% in Jerusalem, and 158% in Jaffa. The growth in Arab towns was much less. It only went up 38% in Nablus, 56% in Jenin, and 37% in Bethlehem. They came to that region, that 1/32nd of the Palestinian region. 1/32nd is what Israel was originally. 1/32nd of it was Jewish. And there weren't many Arabs living in that part. They came there to take advantage of what the Zionists created.
Okay, so now you're going to go on mute. Now, guys, listen, we should give Sarge a round of applause for the presentation that he just gave, because he is for immigration. That is what Sarge just argued. He argued that when the Jews immigrated to Palestine and took it over, he don't have a problem with it because they inserted economic fucking booms and all kinds of fucking health stuff, and the age of life expectancy grew and all of that, right? So he shouldn't have a problem with the southern goddamn border, with the immigration of Mexicans coming to this goddamn country, because he could make that same goddamn argument here in America that he's making for the Jews who immigrated to goddamn Palestine, but he don't. So he full of shit right now is what I'm trying to tell y'all, because he don't give a fuck about immigration except for if it's for them goddamn Jews that he's trying to goddamn protect right now with this goddamn conversation. So Sarge, if you're really legitimate about what you're saying, we shouldn't hear you say another motherfucking word about that southern border or a border wall or the Mexicans is doing this to this goddamn country or immigration is bad to America, because you're for immigration, you fucking moron. Not besides all of that, Sarge, you full of shit, because you just told me that somehow or another one motherfucking goddamn Arab made this decision for all the goddamn Palestine and said it's okay for them goddamn Jews to come over there, which is bullshit, Sarge. So you know it's bullshit. So you're trying to make an argument for immigration. That's exactly what the hell you're doing. Good Lord.
Okay, your half-ass analogies do not hold up a moment to scrutiny. And let me tell you the distinctions between what you said and what is. First of all, the Israelis brought substantial, substantive improvement. Not as the Zionists. I got to stop doing it myself. The Zionists, because Israel didn't exist. They brought improvements to the area, which attracted the people here. These people come across the border are costing the United States $451 billion a year. They are not bringing improvements. They ain't improving a damn thing. They're coming in illegally. The settlers on the first, second, and third Aliyah did not enter that region under the British mandate until after until 1936, when all the riots made the British shut off immigration to them. They would come into the country for the most part legally. And right now, Joe Biden is violating the immigration laws of the United States by not enforcing them. They ought to take that bastard out of the White House, string him up, and tar and feather his fucking ass.
We ain't gonna what we ain't gonna do is threaten the president with death on here. So stop it.
Well, look, I'm just telling you, it ain't the same. Analogy doesn't hold up. These immigrants are not improving our country. They're costing our country. They're coming in illegally. The Zionists came to that region legally, and they improved the country when they got there. They didn't violate the laws to come in there. They bought land legally.
Sarge, so you telling me that when they bought that land and that you see that map that he was talking about, it kept growing right over time. You telling me that some of that land, when they got confident, when they start seeing more of their people coming in, that they say, you know what, we're gonna extend this land. We're gonna move over the border a little bit. That didn't happen, Sarge?
Okay, look, listen to me. Listen to me. The nation was administered by the British government. They had occupation. They conquered it, man. If they were running it. So whatever the Zionists had to do, they had to do it in compliance with British occupation law.
No, but hold on, Sarge. The border started somewhere, and then it ended up somewhere else. And my point, or my question, is that...
Because of war.
Hold on. You telling me that they legally obtained all of that land, Sarge?
Linda, will you be specific, please? Which land are you talking about? So I can answer.
The land that they didn't buy. Let's get rid of that. Okay, they bought land.
Well, will you be specific, please?
You talking about in Palestine?
Every part of that country that they didn't buy.
Okay, let me tell you one more time. One more time. There was
How much specific you want me to be? They did not.
Okay.
Whatever they purchased, they purchased, right? And it's all
okay.
record or whatever. Even though there's even though there's faulty deals that we probably look at that paperwork, it ain't right. Let's get away from that. We already dealing with that.
Yeah, let's get away from that.
Let's talk about people that went in there and pushed the fucking border and had no way. There was no paperwork in there.
Okay, let me answer your question. Yes, the Jewish state, or the Israeli state, expanded beyond what the UN mandate called for. Why? Because the War of Independence in 1948, when the Arabs refused to accept the two-state solution. It was as a result of that war that enabled them to expand it slightly to include certain regions where there was a majority population of Palestinians. But only because the Arabs would not accept the two-state solution and decided to exterminate the Jews because they could not abide, they could not tolerate the thought of a Jewish state in their midst.
Sarge,
now answer your question.
Yeah. So they took land that really wasn't legitimately theirs.
It was a war. What do you expect to happen?
Sarge, it's one thing they won the war for the land that they're already in. You're talking about them extending borders, Sarge.
Yeah, just like we did with the Mexicans in 1847, the same way, yes.
Right. And
that's exactly what they did.
That's why you can't get mad that Mexicans are taking back.
I ain't getting mad if they can do it. If we're stupid enough to let them do it, then we just
wait. Shut up, Sarge. Jay making a very good point. Shut up, Sarge. Sarge is arguing that historically, because the Jews was over there in Palestine, that somehow or another the Palestinians shouldn't be arguing about it because the Jews was already there. And what Jay is saying is way before any fucking Europeans showed up on this goddamn continent, the Mexicans was walking around over here in the southern part of America and I guess in California. So we shouldn't be making a goddamn argument when the Mexican is easing their way back across that goddamn border, Sarge.
I know they weren't, Tyrone. Once again, you're misreading history and you act like something else didn't happen. What happened was the Spanish had suzerainty over that region. The Spanish did. The Mexicans are a mestizo population. They are a mixture of the Spanish conquistadors and the Indians that lived in the area. That's how it came to be. Mexico was a colony of Spain.
Either way, they was here before the fucking Europeans. I don't give a fuck how you want to fucking give them their bloodline. They was here way before Daniel goddamn Boone, motherfucker.
They were here before Spain, sorry.
And Spain conquered them.
Your argument is that there was some Jews over there before the Palestinians or whatever the fuck. So it's the same argument about America, motherfucker.
Well, that's what I keep saying. That's why whenever I hear this bullshit, when they're calling Israeli colonized, they really mean the United States. They want to do the same thing to the United States they're trying to do to Israel. So I ain't moved by none of this shit.
Well, Israel is colonizers.
As far as I'm concerned, if they mean to have a fight, let it begin here. Because in the ultimate final analysis, when it comes down to this, what happens is who's going to win the fight? That's the bottom motherfucking line, and that's the way this is going down right now.
Oh, you think there ain't gonna be no fight over here? You too.
When people stop negotiating, yes, That's exactly what happened.
But
You too extreme.
Look,
And if they do come over here, I hope they scap your ass first.
You know,
Well, they better bring lots of ammo.
Sarge, the crazy thought process for Netanyahu and all these military people, right, and leaders, their strategic thing is to eliminate Hamas, right? So in the process, as let's say they kill most of those guys, right? So the problem is this, right? Because you don't care about, or not that you don't care, but you say, civilian war life, you know, it's all game, it's everything, it happens, right? So right now they done killed, I don't know, 1,000 babies or something like that, and then they killed regular women, men, right? Of course they probably killed a lot of men, but I'm saying they killed some babies, they killed some women. And you expect that the descendants of those family members are not going to be upset with that and are going to just take it under the chin? Is that?
I don't know, because between...
Hold on. Before I finish that, this is the thing, right? They're trying to eliminate, right, Hamas and terrorism. So their strategy is like, all right, we're going to go and kill all of them, but in the process, we got to kill some civilians. And so their strategy of them doing that actually didn't finish it because, again, you could kill 100,000, but like they say, the ideology, the mindset, you know, and everybody that's going to come to attack, like even what happened with Afghanistan and Iraq, people started coming from other parts of the world to fight, even Americans. They got involved. So you could kill everybody from that country or that part of the country, but that doesn't mean you kill the idea and the grief and the hurt and the people that are dealing with trauma that had nothing to do with anything, but now you done turned them into a terrorist now.
Okay, one more time. One more time. Here's what the score of civilians killed by British and American bombing raids in World War II. 635,000 German civilians dead. Let me give you the score of American civilians killed by German bombing raids. 0. Not one. Yet and still, we participated with RAF Bomber Command to kill over 635,000 German civilians in bombing raids. Now, that's just the way things go when you fight a war. And the Germans got over it, but since the Palestinians are crazy, many of them, and fanatical and lunatic and obsessed by leaders who are just genocidal.
Sorry, you being racist.
The only way this is going to be resolved is if somebody destroys the other. I'm afraid that's the only way this is going to end.
So you want to see the Palestinians gone?
I don't want it to happen, but it looks like to me it's going to happen.
You want to see the Palestinians eliminated?
You don't like, you really don't like what I say. You have to distort what I say, don't you?
Because you're talking about genocide, motherfucker.
Let me say it again. Let me say it again what I said, because that's why I don't know why I speak so clearly. I use good English. I use syntax, and you got to straw man everything I say. Why do you do that? Why do you do that? I'm going to say again, I don't want to see any of it. I am telling you, when you cannot reach an agreement and both sides are intractable, this is what is inevitably going to occur.
Okay, so you don't want to see any of it, but you'll be satisfied with the Palestinians gone.
If it's done according... Go ahead, I can't say nothing to this guy. He don't listen. He don't listen.
Wait a minute. Go ahead, Elisa.
I'm going to say this. I have to agree with Sarge on this. I don't see any way how this is going to end. And let me explain why. These people have been fighting forever. And then you have the Muslims once they would start with their jihad. And then after this war that is going on, and I've watched as many of the videos as I was possibly able to stomach of all of these, and it's over 6,000 children that have been killed.
Wow.
6,000 children, and a bunch of women and some men. And watching those videos and seeing the faces and what they're expressing, I don't, and this is gonna sound awful, but like people say free Palestine. I don't know if that can be done now. And this is what I mean by that. I mean, maybe one or two or three or four generations down the road, but they can be free. But what has been created, and with this conflict, because it's not a war, it's a slaughter. And with this conflict that's going on, and you look at the faces and the children who manage to survive, I don't know if they can be freed to govern themselves as they should. Because what has happened, you have created in their memory who these people are, in their whole being, a whole another group that's going to grow up, and it's going to be the same thing. So I agree with Sarge on that. I don't want genocide. I want the Israelis, they have their right to exist. Palestinians have their right to exist. But I don't know if you can free them now. I wish you could. Maybe you could. Maybe a way can be found. But I've heard so many people say that how is this going to end? Because no one is trying to give an inch. Israel, who has the backing of the West, they double down. The Palestinians and a lot of the Arab world that does support them, they have doubled down. They 10 toes in. And nobody is willing to give an inch.
Yep.
Are they going to destroy one another completely? I think that's what Sarge is saying. I don't see how this is going to end because nobody's willing to give. And then when you hear people talk about a two-state solution,
I don't know that.
That might have been gone.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
After this, definitely not. After this, it ain't happening.
And can the Palestinians govern themselves? Would you want them living? I mean, they're such a different country, but let's just say they said some of them go living in your neighborhood. I mean, those people, that stuff is all throughout. And those people, the current generation that's living, because it's a young society that's living now. Can they be free? I mean, they should be freed. But if you free them
without revenge
and to govern their whole country, what might be set loose on the world that was done to them? So I kind of get what Sarge is saying on that. How is this going to end? I don't think it's ever going to end. I heard my mom say last week, even when the last deal is done, and we're talking about the planet, even with the last deal that is done, they're still going to be fighting. what is to be? They still going to be fighting. So what is the end game on this? And I don't think either side has an end game. Yes, they should be free, but how? And in what way? This generation, 3, 4, 5 generations down the line, it might.
They in.
I don't.
They all in. They all in, whether they want to or not, whether the ideology is there. Yeah, because there's pain, and also we got to be realistic too. There's people out there that encourages the violent shit on both sides. Like those Israeli soldiers that went in there and said, "Fuck it, we're gonna blow up the whole fucking building. We don't care if babies is in there." I know that there's Israeli soldiers that they feel that their people got killed. And they're just going all in. They don't give a fuck. They say, we're going to eliminate as many as people as possible. So what happens? Those people's families are affected. They get killed. And it's back and forth. And what they say is going to be eye for eye. And I'm going to tell you, Arab countries, the big shit happens is if those surrounding countries that are not in agreement with what's going on start getting involved, we're going to have a problem.
Yep, that's exactly how ISIS and the Taliban and all them people got created.
The deeper, and this is for the record, and I hope it doesn't happen, we keep fucking around playing both sides of the fence, we're going to have another 9/11 in this motherfucking country. I hope it doesn't happen, but the way we go and we're digging, we're playing around and treading waters we should not be. Instead of being peacemakers, we're causing some shit. Better be careful, government. If you're listening, I hope that peace is the answer. I don't know how we get there, but you guys are the experts. I hope that y'all think you're supposed to be more civilized than the fucking average street motherfucker. How do you expect civilians and street people to act civilized if the government doesn't act civilized? That's my question, and I'll leave it there.
Right, and on that note, YouTube. Listen, YouTube, it's time for me to get out of here, and I appreciate Sarge and Elisa and Jay and Joshua and Ant stopped by. I appreciate you guys, but YouTube won't get ready to shut you guys off. And if you guys are on the conference call, you guys can stay on here. Appreciate it, Miss Elisa and Jay and all y'all. So I'm getting ready to open the lines.
One more thing I'd like to say. One more thing I'd like to say again. Now, here's the difference between Hamas and people who...
Q&A session is over. All participants are unmuted.
Here's the difference when you got people who understand what civilization is.